Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Go wish. Versace.
Won't you say why you're a stranger now? Your eyes escape mine when I sit you down. Don't you feel like we're holding on onto a fairy tale, but the magic's gone? Been months of bluffing the blushes and faking the butterflies. Wake up, yeah, I'm kicking the castle down. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk. Ooh, yeah, I think it's time to talk.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are heading into the Pro Series Finals. We've made it all the way. 4 weeks. Well, today's the 4th week. 3 weeks of playing. Of course, making its way all the way to today. And of course, we're going to see the teams facing it off in the finals. And it's going to be pretty spicy. Just based on what we've seen in the previous 3 works, we are in for quite a bit of entertainment here tonight. So, Batchy, anything in particular you're looking forward to?
Well, I mean, it's been a pretty eventful series, to be completely honest. We've seen some really interesting things, some really amazing clutches coming out as well, if I remember correctly. We've had some very good work being done by a lot of these teams here, which is really good to see. And I mean, I said earlier on in the series that you know, I was just sort of looking forward to seeing these really high skill, high paced, high performance teams, you know, just performing at that level, showing us what they're capable of, showing us what they can do. And well, I mean, they certainly lived up to that challenge. They really did show us what they're made of. A lot of teams been shining, a lot of players been shining. Gun doing some good work. I think they were one of the teams that clutched recently, or at least in my recent recollection, did some really good work on that front. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just excited to see how this all finishes, how it all culminates. you know, everything working up towards the point where they're just coming up to the grand final, the big finale, whatever you want to call it, you know, the final stretch. So yeah, I want to see how the teams are performing, you know, what they've got in store for us, if they're going to, you know, just try and slow it down towards the end and, you know, just ease the pace off, or if they're going to end off with a nice explosive finish, which is, of course, what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, let's jump into the lobby and see, firstly, who we've got in the lobby, and then, of course, where that flight path is going to be taking us. So here we are. We've got the players from Mars. We've got Not Gaming, NiBBLE Esports. We've got the Outsiders. We've got eXile Africa. We've got the players from 4KT. We've got Gun. We've got GODSENT. We've got the team from Spaza Six. We've got the Dragons. We've got Vibrant rather. We've got Ekasi. We've got the players from EFX. And then also, of course, the players coming in from Revolution. So there we go. There we have it. But let's have a quick look at that flight path. If the device would stop freezing on me. No! Well, that's fun. Well, let's jump over to Patchy.
Hey, it's me. I'll describe the flight path in great detail to you, so you don't have to miss out. So right at the top, up at Severny, we've got the start of the flight path going all the way down towards the southeast, towards the Nova Crates, but not just hitting in that area, just towards the island just yet, going sort of south of Milter Power, just off into the ocean there. So it's a nice sort of north to southeast flight path. Everything's going to be decently accessible, except for, of course, the Gadka side of the map. Not going to be able to get into Quarry or Primorsk easily either, but I mean, with that being said, we've generally seen a lot of teams decide to sort of make the motions anyway, move up into the spots that they're comfortable with in any case. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that coming out now. Although I think that most of the teams should be feeling comfortable regardless. I think they have sort of their secondary drop points off towards the one side if they don't get access to it. So I think they'll be feeling fine in any case. We'll just see if they feel like rotating up in towards their favorite spots, or if they're just quite happy to let it sit for the moment, because they can make it happen. But I think the most interesting thing that has just occurred is, of course, the rotation of that zone, which is now sitting down towards the southwest, which means that the majority of teams and players are not inside it, and also it's down all the way over the military base, and also there's tons of water in there. So, I mean, this is looking like a spicy zone. What a way to start things off.
You forgot to use the, but wait, there's more.
yeah.
That was the one that I was, that's the one that I was waiting for. But of course, we're waiting for, well, my lovely device to load itself up again, because it chose to freeze right as, that flight path kicked in. So, well, it's almost done. Then we can take you straight into the action, and we don't have to punish Patchy here with, having to describe the whole game to you. But this thing is, of course, you know, Murphy's Law. It takes its sweet time. But we'll get into that, and of course, well, let us know in the chat which teams you guys are here to support. Who do you think is going to get the chicken dinner for this first round? It could still pretty much go either way. We've seen quite some amazing performances coming in across the board from all the teams. So, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a super spicy one nonetheless. So we'll see what the teams are going to get up to, and of course where they go once, well, everything is loaded. So, yeah. Patchy, what's happening on the match? Tell us so far what you see.
Let's take a look, shall we? Let's take a look. So right now, I'm seeing that we have actually seen a couple of teams move up into their favorite spots. So we do have the Not Gaming squad up in North George, got the Dragons in South George. So they've moved up in that direction. We've got a number of teams concentrated towards the middle of the map. So in Rozhok, we've got the Outsiders, we've got Vibrant and Mars as well. We have the eXiles over in Pachinki. We've got Ekasi just below them, so all the way down to the south. That's at the coastline, which also happens to be quite central in the zone as well. We've got the GODSENT team sitting in Farm. Of course, we've got the Gun team up in Shelter. We have Odyssey in Yasnaya, and Revolution split between Stalba and Kameshki as well. And then, of course, over in that military base, we've got the Spaza team as well as 4KT over in Nova. So there we go. As you can see on your map, exactly everything that I've just described to you is accurate. And, well, there it is. We'll see how the teams move into this one. I'm gonna throw out a quick prediction and say that likely we're gonna see the northern part of this map get really exciting, probably, because we still have you know, like 4 or 5 teams that actually need to rotate down. And if they do move down in all a similar direction, we're going to see them all up to the northeast, which means that that place is going to get real crowded real quick, and we're going to see some fights happening in due course.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be keeping a very watchful eye on the map to see what is about to go down. But in the meantime, let's jump up here to the players from Vibe. As you can see them, of course, making their way through school. You got Nova there just running around on that baseball court. Or the baseball court. Yeah, that makes no sense. The basketball court. There we go. Yeah, if it was baseball, it would have been far larger than that. But either way, the players from the outsiders, you can see them, of course, now busy mobilizing themselves, getting ready to move about. So let's see where it is that they're going to be choosing to be moving up in towards as well. Pronto is making some fair use of his motorbike here. So let's see, crashes right into the power box as one does.
Yeah, it's the best way to park your bike.
Yes, right into the power box. That is, you know, the most efficient way of bringing your vehicle to a sudden halt.
Yeah.
In game. Don't try it in real life.
One might say it's a powerful tactic.
Yes, it is quite empowering.
Yeah.
So we'll see now. As you can see, the players there from GODSENT all the way over towards that eastern bridge. So they're slowly but surely starting to make their way across over towards that Sosnovka military island. And of course, we see the team from 4KT just patiently waiting on the opposite end. But we see the team from Vibe now just approaching that Pochinki region. Odyssey doing the same. So slowly but surely, these teams are trying to head on up in towards that zone. You can see Ekasi now making their way across the bridge. And of course, the players from Spaza Six still holding up in their same position, which is, again, not a surprise because that is where we see them, you know, on a quite frequent basis. So far, it's a fairly decent position to be holding, seeing that they are in zone, and we could actually potentially see quite a few teams rotating up into that same direction as well. So I'm quite curious to see what it is that's going to be happening once, you know, this next zone is decided. And of course, well, we might see a little bit of action, seeing that red zone has now shifted away. Ooh,
yeah,
it
this
seems
is
like Vibe moving up.
This is definitely an interesting zone to have because it forces teams to make that decision that we talk a lot about when it comes to mainland versus island, you know, but it forces it out really early. And you can see that GODSENT's actually made a really smart move in terms of that, because they've already moved up and taken control of the eastern bridge, which means that regardless of if the zone goes north or south, they can just move up either way. So that's actually a pretty good move from them. Of course, 4KT is down towards the south to potentially either greet them if the zone goes south or try and push past them if it goes north. But right on your screen here, we've got Viber trying to put some shots across and actually getting hit in the process. Somebody taking quite a bit of damage. So it's a good thing we're seeing these fights starting nice and soon.
It's always a good thing to see these early engagements. And of course, now right there, Mr. Smitty gets taken down. So he's, you know, a little bit knocked. But of course, it is a fairly tricky spot to be fighting in. And the team here from Vibe actually putting in quite a few shots in the process there. So now we're just trying to see what is about to happen. No, I'm just sighing at people stating things I'm obviously already aware of. As we mentioned before, we had trouble with the game crashing.
Yeah.
That's why you saw our lovely faces on stream for such a... You know?
I apologize that you had to see me for so long, honestly.
Yeah, it's quite vile.
Yeah. Wow. All right. All right, moving on from that, we're going to see quite a number of teams moving up in that northern spot, of course, as predicted. Just moving down, all of those teams from the north going to be sticking themselves inside that zone. But moving up towards the middle part, as per usual, so sticking to sort of generic style at the moment, or at least the new age generic style, which is quite good to see. I like that coming out there. We have actually seen Spaza move across towards the base, so they're sitting up there with Ekasi. You can see right there on your screen. Of course, so we do have a couple of teams up towards the north, and some of them lagging behind in that blue. We've got the Dragons rotating very far around from that western side, followed closely by the Not Gaming squad. So now, I guess the biggest question is, does the zone go north or south? Because that's really going to switch up the dynamic here and see who has, or it's going to really decide who has the power in the situation.
Yeah, I'm quite curious also to see what is going to happen, as the team seems a little bit decisive at the moment. You know, they're just waiting in anticipation, trying to see where that zone's going to be going. And I think, you know, once the zone moves in, which should be momentarily, I think we're going to see quite a few interesting rotations coming in, of course, depending on where that zone's going to be taking us. But at the moment, you can see the players here from Ekasi and the team from Spaza Six just exchanging a few shots between them. And of course, well, it seems like the players here from Spaza has actually started to surround the whole team from Ekasi. So that's quite an interesting development, and you know, it's good to see how the teams are evolving their gameplay, you know, moving up in these strategic positions. And, you know, they could actually tighten their grip quite a bit on the Ekasi team. Unless, of course, Jasmine keeps on doing what Jasmine is doing at the current moment. And, you know, picking those shots away at the Spaza Six players.
Yeah, surrounding the team is maybe a good in theory in terms of trying to get angles on. You could potentially catch them out. There's nowhere for them to hide. But, I mean, that also opens you up to picks. And if you go down, there's very little chance that your team can come and res you because, of course, the team in the middle is able to look everywhere and see you crossing. So you have to be really careful not to go down here. And if, you know, Jasmine keeps doing what Jasmine is doing, they might just have a bit of a difficult time.
Yeah, we're seeing some fantastic shots coming in. And of course, a nice exchange between these players. Everyone is now just starting to put hits in all directions. But we're seeing the engagements actually starting to happen as that zone has shifted in from that from its previous position up in towards yet again the southeastern side. And the shots now coming straight in towards Jasmine. Sunny now being the last hopeful for the Ekasi team here. We've seen quite a few hits also coming in that kill feed. So maybe we might see the players here from Spaza actually clutching this push on the Ekasi team.
Yeah, might just be. Of course, Sunny now trying to put those hits across and stop them in their tracks. In the meantime, the eXiles are also taking a couple of fights, and so is GODSENT up against 4KT. They've pushed across the bridge, and now up comes True. He's going to put the shots in. Hunter goes down, and, well, that is pretty much goodbye in that situation. But it's not over because, of course, Odyssey is now moving across the bridge, moving up towards the Spaza team as well. GODSENT, of course, still assaulting the 4KT squad as they have moved across. And because of that southern zone, all the teams are trying to clamber across that bridge as quickly as possible. So things are heating up on those bridge sections.
Yeah, it's gonna be. This is proving to be quite the interesting zone. The players making some very interesting plays here, but the shots, of course, now going off in all directions. Khan now getting hit in the head. Down he goes, and well, we've got a few players, of course, as you mentioned, just up here on the northern side of the bridge. The players here from the Revolution squad going right up against the players there from Gun. Quite a few shots already being exchanged between the two, and well, Nerf and Pyro now being the last two remaining players for the Gun team. Revolution's numbers actually looking pretty decent.
Yeah, certainly are. They certainly are. So we'll see if they can come out on top of that situation, if they'll be able to just hold their own at that stage. But what's really going to be an interesting one to watch is up there towards the western bridge, where there's a ton of teams sitting up there. We've got the eXiles just above EFX. We've got the Outsiders and, of course, Odyssey all occupying that area. Now, they are still inside the zone, but if the zone shifts south again, they're going to be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, we're seeing also the players there from Mars. They're hanging back all the way up in that northern portion of the zone, not pushing into any of the engagements that we see taking place across the map. So it's definitely an interesting development that they've got there, or a different approach rather to the match, because you know, we see all the teams actually pushing up, getting involved in the engagements, and well, we still find the team there from Mars hanging back all the way off to the end. Ooh, EFX getting taken out by the eXiles.
Ooh, I did not see that coming.
Wow. Well, there we go. So, yet another team getting sent on off into the lobby. Down goes Nerf. Pyro now, the last hopeful for the Gun squad. Well, no, never mind. He's dead. There we go. Revolution. Just coming up with some revolutionary plays right there, sending the Gun squad right into that lobby. And of course, we are now left with 11 teams. And that zone just hovering over the water here.
I think I just noticed that the dragons not only rotated around the zone, but actually continued to do so all the way around in a very interesting style, all the way to the back. That's ended them all the way on the southern side of that military base, which is quite an interesting movement. They've just circumnavigated literally every single team on the map at this stage, which is a pretty smart move from them, because they're sitting quite happily now in zone with no one to challenge them. The same cannot be said for the Not Gaming Squad, Odyssey, the Outsiders, Mars, and the Exiles, who are all still up there towards that western bridge right at the top. So that's still looking like a serious hotspot, looking really, really stacked. And, well, I don't think all of those teams are going to make it out of that spot alive.
Yeah, well, Thugger definitely trying his luck. As you can see him just popping back and forth between this corner, trying to put those hits in over towards the GODSENT team. But now he's shooting through the opening in the window. Well, thankfully there's no glass in that window. Otherwise, that would have been a little bit of a messy business. But of course, the players here from 4KT now trying to turn their attention. Well, they're not trying to. They already have turned their attention 100% over towards the GODSENT team. The numbers on both sides still looking fairly decent. We've got a few more hits actually now coming in as the teams are starting to make their way across. That zone shifting up once again, now heading over towards this eastern side of the zone. We actually see the team from Vibe. They're on the approach on this eastern bridge. So we might have yet another few engagements coming in as they make their approach. And of course, we've got GODSENT still just waiting on this bridge.
Yeah, it is going to be definitely an interesting one. GODSENT in a pretty good position here because, of course, Vibe and Revolution have to move across that bridge or try something else very, very soon. You can see the shots coming in. GODSENT just keeping afloat for the moment as some other shots coming across the map as the team's moving on in. As you can see on that map, lots of teams still need to make their way on up, but they are slowly getting there. Revolution and Vibe going at it here on the bridge, just absolutely hammering away to try and make their way across and try and get into the safety of that zone.
Yeah, and it's definitely proving to be quite difficult. The Vibe team already suffering 2 casualties in the process. Now Smitty and Gunner, the last 2 remaining hopefuls here. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to continue this push. It seems like they're deciding to rather just rotate across the bridge. But of course, as we saw on the opposite end, we've got the players there from GODSENT lying in wait. So they might very well be rushing themselves straight on up into a bit of an ambush. Well, if Smitty can handle the buggy in the process. That was a bit of an interesting approach to get across that bridge.
Yeah, and it could. I was thinking they were actually setting up halfway across the bridge, which might still be the play, but that's actually smart because they don't push all the way across the bridge into the waiting arms of GODSENT and 4KT. Instead, they just sit on the bridge, make sure that they've got some cover behind them, and then they turn their attention back towards the Revolution squad, who obviously has to make their way in somehow. Either they're going to cross the bridge or they're going to throw themselves into the water, but either way, they've got a good position. But instead, they decide to rotate up for some unknown reason, and they're going to be taking quite a bit of damage there. GODSENT absolutely not letting them run across for free, and now all of a sudden Vibe find themselves with 1 player alive and barely any HP to escape. But 4KT was actually looking in that direction as well, so he has to be super careful about how he plays this. Definitely, in my opinion, a bit of a mistake from Vibe. They could have held up on that bridge a lot better instead of pushing across.
Yeah, because they had quite an advantage there. The players from GODSENT actually had no idea that they were on the approach. You know, for quite some time, we saw the players from GODSENT focusing all their attention over towards 4KT, which the team there from Vibe could have utilized and, you know, made a slow but progressive push across that bridge, sneaking up on GODSENT, you know, actually even putting in some hits towards them.
Yeah, and not to mention that Revolution would have had to cross the bridge, so they literally could have just turned around, took the hits in towards Revolution, who would just walk into their crosshairs for free, and picked up some kills in a squad wipe potentially as well. So yeah, maybe a little bit of a misplay, although maybe they didn't feel confident in taking those 2 fights, who knows, but ultimately it is going to result in them being very much on the back foot. But in the meantime, the Exiles, the Not Gaming Squad, now taking some exchanges here, and that is, well, the end for one of them. Cheddar is trailing behind on the other side of the bridge, still having to cross. In the meantime, of course, GODSENT still trying to put the hits in towards that 4KT team, and the rest of them just making their way in towards that zone, which is down in the south.
The Dragons are caught in a very, very tough position. We see some more hits coming in there now from the GODSENT team, but you know, the Dragons are split up. They're caught right on the edge of the zone. There's only 2 of them remaining. And of course, now Odyssey just lying in wait right up ahead of them. So they actually now need to plan, you know, appropriate approach to get on into the zone without having themselves, you know, getting sent on off into that lobby. Because as we've seen here, Mr. Vindog is quite the formidable foe when it comes to defending the edge of that zone. And now we see GODSENT trying to rush on up, and I think they actually just took down the players here from 4KT. Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
It looks like it.
Well done.
Yeah, very, very nice. But now we sit with 10 teams, so we're already in our top 10. We've got 28 players alive. We've got quite a considerable number of teams already stacked up inside that zone, all the way towards the western half of that. We're still waiting for Mars and the Exiles, actually, to get in towards that zone. They're sort of trailing around in the blue zone, which is very risky business at this stage of the game. And, of course, GODSENT and Revolution, as well as the straggling Vibe, going to have to be moving in to the zone as well. Luckily on their side it is a little bit more open, so there is some chance for them to move in, but now is where the real fun begins in our top 10 here.
Yep. Now this is definitely going to be quite the challenging one. As you can see, we've got a few players still on the approach. I think it's going to be interesting to see where the players from GODSENT are going to decide to move on up. It seems like they're heading over towards that eastern side of the zone. You've got Gunner, of course, right there with them. The players there from Spaza putting some shots in towards Mars. That is the end of Mars. So Mars getting sent into the lobby. So we are now left with 9 teams, 26 players. And Gunner, of course, being the last player for his team. We got the players there from GODSENT just sitting over towards his northern position. And we're seeing the zone finish all the way over on the military base, which is also, of course, quite an interesting place, because we've seen quite a few interesting players as well coming in from this section. So let's see what is going to happen here to the Exiles as they now just come into zone. Well, down goes MG. His vehicle gets blown up. So very quick end there for him. But of course now Odyssey just here on the edge, keeping a watchful eye. You can see Cheddar off in the distance and the players right there from Not Gaming just in front of him. So let's see.
See if he can land these shots. He's gonna have to look for them. Oh, there's Soldado putting some shots across. Outsiders now moving down towards Odyssey. Not Gaming and Exile actually moving up towards one another as well, because that zone is just looking super tiny right now. I mean, I don't even know how big that is how small it is right now. It's like 300 meters maybe. But yeah, these teams are in a bit of a spot now, because Revolution is sitting right above Spaza. As you can see on the screen, they have to move down past Spaza and Outsiders and Odyssey, who've taken up a considerable amount of space in the zone. There is Exiles who are trying to move, or well, specifically Cheddar trying to move in. Not Gaming Squad is occupying the south of the zone. The Dragons need to move in as well. GODSENT need to move in as well. So, I mean, there are some teams that really need to just barge their way on into this. And of course, they're not able to all fit. So this is definitely going to have to be a fight for that real estate, which is what we absolutely love to see. Now we're just going to see how the fights unfold.
Yeah. But the players are actually choosing quite an interesting way to be battling in this match, especially because it's not the standard fighting that we usually see. You know, that's why I'm actually having a bit of trouble keeping up with all the fights. It happens in such a strange way. And of course, there we go. The players, 2 players from the Spaza team getting sent straight into that lobby. Their vehicle getting blown up in the process. The team's definitely taking a very, very different approach to the fights in this match.
Yeah.
You know, we're not seeing super aggressive plays, but when they move in, they act so quickly that it's done within a few moments. You know, we don't see extended exchanges between the teams. You know, which is, yeah, it's really strange. I mean, I'm so accustomed to seeing the teams just going ham all over the place, and now it's like, you know, when they move in, they just rip it up into pieces and almost immediately.
Yeah, we're seeing some interesting blitz tactics coming out here in this game. Of course, on your screen here, you can see Shady and, of course, what looks like Con from GODSENT, who are just out here right towards the top of the zone, putting some hits in towards Odyssey, who is still sitting happily right in the middle of that zone at the moment. Of course, it did shift up, but we've got so many teams that need to move on up, and all of them have to fight for a spot, and you can see things are just heating up. Absolute madness now as the shots are flying between all these teams. We've got 8 teams and 19 players left alive, but they all have to try and squeeze into the zone. Of course, they're not going to let one another get there in for free, so they're just putting those shots straight across. Vindar going to get hit. Dragon's going to be hit now. The Outsiders moving down, trying to put the hits in as well. Everyone is just fighting for a spot to survive.
Absolute insanity on this match, as everyone is now, just as you mentioned, trying to find their way on up into zone. We've got Mr. Gunner here trapped behind a few rocks. The players there from Not Gaming actually now moving in and wiping out the Dragons. So off they go. We've got a few stragglers, of course, now spread out across the map. Well, so far I can only see 2 of them, one being Cheddar and the only other one being Mr. Gunner, that is now caught out in the blue zone as he's trying to get his way on in, and the outside is also now starting to succumb to the blue zone. Oh, Bob just managing to get on up in towards the zone. We still have Cheddar here on the edge. He's trying to run in. Let's see whether or not Bob will make it. No, Sidon finds him and sends him packing. The shots, of course, now coming in from behind as well. Revolution also trying to move on up in towards zone. Down goes Sidon. Baker and Juicy still remain, and they're trying to, well, put their heads in everywhere they can. Down goes several players for the Not Gaming team. We've actually dropped down to only 3 teams now. That is Not Gaming, Odyssey, and GODSENT. Wow.
Yeah, that was super, super quick. And with the help of the blue zone, of course, the shots and the damage just came down. And already, actually, we're down to 2 teams now. It's, of course, Odyssey and the Not Gaming squad. But it's Zeus is the last one left. So it's a 1v3. He's in the grass trying to crawl around, trying to play the snake game. But is it going to work out for him at the moment? We'll see. Because with these 3 remaining players for Odyssey, they just need to play cleanup crew. And there it is.
Down they go, done and dusted. Odyssey coming in with a beautiful chicken there, finishing off with, well, 10 kills. Beautifully played. We got the players from Not Gaming coming in with 5 kills in second place. We got GODSENT finishing their play with 6 in third. We got Revolution in 4th place with 6 kills as well. The eXiles finishing in 5th place with 5 kills. Then we got the players from the Outsiders in 6th place with 3 kills. We got Vibrant finishing their play with 2 in 7th. The Dragons in 8th. We got the team there from Spaza finishing their play off with 7 kills in 9th place. Mars with 1 in 10th. 4KT in 11th. We got Gun in 12th place with 2 kills. EFX finishing up with 1 kill in 13th. And then, of course, we saw the players from Ekasi getting sent back into that lobby first. So definitely quite an interesting turn of events. And the teams, as I mentioned, really playing a different kind of game today. You know, making it relatively difficult to keep up with them. As I mentioned, you know, those engagements they take happen almost instantly, which is quite different, but I mean, definitely something that is, you know, yeah, good, I guess.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot more sort of bursty than we usually see, sort of stop and go a lot of the time, but it did seem to be working out. I mean, they were just really just decisively taking those fights, you know, moving in, just swooping in, doing it cleanly and just finishing it up, and a lot less sort of longer prolonged engagements, which is definitely an interesting switch up. But one thing I do want to note is that Odyssey, of course, taking the chicken in that one, but they've been really performing quite well in recent times and really stepping up to the plate. So well done to them, I must say. And yeah, it was a really good show all around as well, because that zone all the way in the south, very, very nice to see, moving down and down and down, forcing the teams to move across. So we saw some bridge camping, saw a couple of mistakes as well, though. I think I believe it was Vibe who maybe could have made some better decisions on that bridge there, but I mean, ultimately, in any case, it was still a really good match to watch. So yeah, I'm keen for the rest of tonight's matches.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, let's jump into quick intermission while we wait for the second round to get underway. Here we go.
wrapped around your soul with no control. You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. I'll run, I'll hide. Darkness always clouds my mind. When I look behind, it's moving closer every time. I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. There's darkness, my old friend. You get me till at the end. At the end. Can you feel it wrapped around your soul with no control? You can't breathe when you're drowning underwater. There's so much water. Ah, I can't pretend that I have a strong defense. There's darkness, my old friend. You get me in the
Waste another day, eyes on my display. You say we need a change, and I feel that you mean it. You mean it. But you're so right, we're losing track of time. Buying things online, and it's not like we need them. We don't need them. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found. For you and I, we're safe and sound. We were on the run, rocking around the clock. Now all we need is right here in front of us. In front of us. So can we just slow down? The only thing I'll do is lay here next to you. We need to slow down. Embrace the love we found. For you and I are safe and sound. Can we just slow down? And we just slow waste another day. I'm on my play. You say we need a change, and feel that you need it. It's just so right. We're losing track of time, buying things online. It's not like we need them. Safe and sound. It's the calm before the storm. Things aren't as they were before. You best stop racing. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. Tides are changing. Can you hear this sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. With the revolution. With the With the ground beneath your feet, with a whisper in the trees. Do you feel us watching? Hunger in our eyes, victories on our minds. It's our time to rise. Can you hear the sound? Can't stop us now. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. With the revolution. We're not back in town, know what we're doing. Things are about to change, it's evolution. Voices shake the ground, you feel it moving. With the revolution.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed, it's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, we are getting ready for our second match, which will, of course, be heading straight in towards the Miramar map. So, well, we're about to get the match underway and get into the things. So we'll see how that's going to go. I don't know what I referred to as the things there, but we'll get into the action. And, of course, hopefully some early game engagements as well, as the teams have actually been stepping it up quite a bit today, as we mentioned in the previous match. And I'm quite keen to see what's going to be happening in this next one. We are moving up into a different map. So, yeah, it's always interesting to see how the teams adapt their gameplay, you know, when we change between the different maps. We also see, you know, teams stepping up and starting to flourish once we, you know, make our way through that. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be super interesting to see what will come from this next match. And, of course, where that flight path and zone is going to be taking us. So, any predictions that you've got for this one, Patch?
Honestly, like this map is usually a bit of an interesting one because moving up into the first of the Miramar matches, I think a lot of the time we see the teams still getting into the zone, still in that kind of mode, and we see a very odd set of happenings sometimes. Not to mention that we've seen some very interesting zones here on Miramar as well a couple of times. So, yeah, I'm expecting maybe we'll see an interesting zone shift perhaps, and then we'll see how the teams respond to that. I definitely agree with what you've been saying, though. I mean, the team's definitely been stepping up in recent times. I echo that statement. But we actually got a pretty good flight path here, so I think the teams should be feeling pretty comfortable with this. Now we just wait and see where the zone goes, and then we'll see how comfortable the teams feel here on this map. I'd wager that they feel pretty darn comfortable. I've heard a lot of saying that a lot of people saying that this map is actually quite enjoyable to play as well. But actually, with that said, you know, in that first game that we just saw, we saw a very different style of gameplay coming out, and I'm not sure if we're going to see a repeat of that because I don't think this map really lends itself to that kind of blitz style gameplay.
Well, we'll definitely see once everyone's touched down and they've decided on where it is that they want to be rotating up to and so on, and of course once we see where that zone is. But hopefully, you know, things are a little bit more along the lines of what we are accustomed to seeing these teams do. Yeah, you know, so I'm referring to that in all the best senses, of course. You know, not seeing the teams play a passive game, which in fact we've not really seen them do before. But yeah, we'll definitely see how this match progresses, and of course where that zone's going to be going, because we've got Odyssey and Vibe once again landing in the spot that we always see them going into, which is of course Los Leones. We've got the team there from Ekasi dropping down over in Puerto. We've got the players from Not Gaming, well, not really landing in a particular spot. They you know, do their usual spread there. Of course, the players from 4KT heading straight in towards Chumacera. We've got the players there from Spaza landing right in between that, and of course Picado, where we find the eXiles. We got the Dragons up in Power Grid. We got Gun in their usual spot, Monte Nuevo. We got the players from GODSENT over in San Martin. And well, one thing that's a little bit different is the concentration of teams that we see in this section of the map here between Graveyard and San Martin, where of course we find the players from EFX, Revolution, and then also the players from Mars. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. But of course, having a quick look at the rest of the map, nothing out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, I mean, I must say it's quite interesting to see that the Not Gaming squad actually really like to cling to that coastline. It's very interesting. They do this on both maps, it seems, Erangel and here on Miramar, which is interesting. Seems to work out for them. That's the sort of setup they seem to like, and I enjoy that. I like to see the different kinds of setups coming out. You know, you don't always have to drop down into a compound specifically. You know, you can also occupy certain areas, or you know, move your way around, sort of mold to the environment. So that's quite interesting to see. But of course, with the zone being all the way up in towards the northeast, a lot of these teams are going to have to move on up. So hopefully we do see them moving up in towards a lot of that open space, because if they all start to move in just directly into the zone, it's going to be very, very crowded here in towards the southwest. As you can see, we already have a ton of teams in there. The teams, in fact, that are inside the zone are all down in towards that southwest position. So if all the teams start moving up immediately into the zone, they're going to run into quite a welcoming party with a lot of teams already sitting in those areas. Of course, Los Leones looking pretty happy as well, with Odyssey and Vibe sitting up in there. So yeah, we'll wait and see if the teams can replicate or continue with that sort of blitz style, you know, just quick bursts of fighting and clean squad wipes, or if they're going to switch to a more traditional style of a little bit more prolonged engagements from that long range, getting some knocks in and then picking your moment to start to move up.
Well, we've actually seen in past games that the teams actually speed up the Miramar map in comparison to the usual time we see the match, you know, unfold in. But of course, that is not necessarily a bad thing to have the teams do. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is after all the finals. This is our second match of the evening, and well, the teams are in fact battling it out for that leaderboard to find themselves right there at the top. And we'll see how this goes. You can see Iron Man now slowly but surely just creeping in on Andrew here. I'm not 100% sure whether or not Andrew knows, but fortunately we have a bit of a mist that's also finding its way on the map here. So the players could conceal themselves just a little while longer.
Interesting. We'll see if the mist helps them out just a little bit here, as Iron Man, of course, making his approach on up. Andrew just over there on the other side, moving on in the distance. We'll see if he can spot any of those players now, potentially take some shots in their direction. But man, I really do hope that they do what you suggested. They do quite a bit on this map, which is speed things up just a little bit, because of course that blue zone takes quite a while to move on in. That first one just super slow, and of course that means that the rotates are all of the team's own volition. But here comes Andrew crossing the road, and well, crossing the road means no cover, and that means that the mini 14s can just place those shots straight into you and put you down onto the ground. And actually, Andrew is very much separated from the rest of his team, which means that the chances for a revive are basically none. So well, he's about to get taken straight out, and yeah, there he goes. So that's a bit unfortunate for him.
Yeah, his teammates being about 1.2 kilometers away. So yeah, 100% no res at all coming in there for Andrew. But we see quite a bit of movement now taking place on the map as some of the teams are starting to make their way on up in towards that zone. You see guns slowly but surely starting to mobilize themselves. We've got the players from Spaza already heading up in towards that zone as well. 4KT and Not Gaming still in their positions, not rotating in just yet, but we see Odyssey also on the move vibe as well, slowly but surely starting to mobilize. So yeah, we might see a few interesting rotations coming into this next zone, as that blue zone is of course, well, about to close in slowly but surely. I love it when the counter on the clock gets stuck in 32 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it absolutely fantastic. But of course, paying close attention to that blue zone, you can see it is in fact very, very slowly closing in. So we'll see where it is that these teams choose to rotate on up into, because well, yeah, it's definitely going to be super interesting.
Yeah, it certainly will be, and we'll see. It's starting to look like this sort of southwest portion is starting to get a little bit more occupied right now. You can see the eXiles are up in here, Mars, GODSENT, Outsiders. We've got even Odyssey moving up into that direction. So we've got quite a number of teams sitting here. Of course, that mist obscuring quite a bit of vision and really stopping a lot of those long-range engagements from potentially coming through, making it a little bit more difficult to execute. We've got the Dragons moving up in towards the west, coming down from the south. We've actually got the Spaza Six team quite close to them, moving up behind them. So that is also a potential spot where we might see some fights, although the Dragons are attempting to race ahead as quickly as possible. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. Just barely Schnitzer's alive on that one.
And the gun team now really finding their hits though on the Dragons here. I mean, I really thought that you know, the mist that we see on the current map would definitely, you know, impair some of the players, but well, that clearly doesn't seem to be the case, as we saw.
Obviously, Gun doesn't care about that.
Yeah, and the same, of course, right here between GODSENT and the eXiles as well. As you can hear the shots and see the shots now coming in from all directions. Wow, this is absolutely fantastic to witness. So many hits just going off in all directions. And of course, now we've got Sari right here on the edge, trying to find that angle on Shady. Ooh, this is such a close one. MG, of course, already getting sent off into that lobby. We've got Odyssey still off in the distance, and the gun team, in fact, now still going at the players there of the Dragons. we might see them actually wrap it up pretty soon. But of course, Dan managing to escape, making his way all the way across. But now Gon is getting hit in the process. Ooh, slowly but surely the numbers are starting to drop as the Dragons and Exiles, as well as Godsent and Gun, all these teams going head to head with each other all over the place. Odyssey even are stepping in. We see Ekasi popping in a quick few shots as well in the kill feed.
Yeah, so it's good to see them getting the aggression on, turning it up, putting the shots in. Actually, Godsent getting hammered as well at the moment. Flanker crawling through the grass, trying to survive here with quite a number of surrounding teams. And he's actually got his eyes set towards the Odyssey team, looking to potentially catch them off guard. But if he does take that shot, he will give himself away. So he has to be careful about what he does in this scenario. And actually, it looks like he's going to get spotted anyway. Doesn't matter. He's going to get immediately executed. Man, oh man, what a tight situation to be in. But that is the Godsent team sent back to the lobby, I believe.
Yeah, just like that. The first team off it is. And of course, now we got the team here from Vibe also now making a bit of an engagement there with the players from Ekasi, who was the first team sent to the lobby in the previous match. So far so good. You know, they won't see a repeat of that for this one, seeing that we already had that first team getting sent off. But let's see how far the Ekasi team will make it in this round, as we've got a few shots now still flying up over towards their position. We've got the players there from Vibe over towards that southwestern side. And of course, now Odyssey getting hit by the Exiles as well. So we're seeing a bit of a change up happening in this match, as we've seen before. The teams seem to prefer certain maps, and of course that kind of just builds on their gameplay.
Yeah, no, it does. And now the teams are moving on up. We've actually got a couple trailing behind in that blue zone. We've got the Not Gaming squad, who has spent a considerable number of time down on that coast. They are moving up. 4KT also considering just chilling in that blue zone for the time being. They're sitting in Chumasera at the moment and not really looking to move up just yet. They're sort of puttering around in that general spot. And the zone is all the way up and towards the northeast, so they do have quite a bit of distance to cover. But in the meantime, of course, Spaza Six moving on up towards Odyssey, who is sandwiched between both Exile and Odyssey. So, Spaza Six. So Odyssey are just in a little bit of a difficult situation there. They have to be a bit careful. Gun getting that red zone dropped right on top of them. In the meantime, and of course, the rest of the teams just making their way on up in towards that zone. Of course, Ekasi right here on your screens up here with the Vibe, who are playing around towards the edge of that zone and just looking for those hits.
Oh. And I mean, they're putting some shots across over towards Jasmine that we see just rotating up. But yeah, I would definitely be quite worried if the players from Spaza found themselves, sandwiched in between Spaza. That would prove to be quite difficult. I don't know how they can sandwich themselves, but either way, the shots are still going in. You can see Hunter now getting hit there as the Vibe team are just starting to turn up the heat. We got Gunner now getting ready to roll on up, and the Ekasi team, well, down to their last two players.
Yeah, things have been quite interesting here. We've seen quite a bit of damage going across the board, and it doesn't look to be stopping anytime soon. Sunny trying to put some hits in towards Vibe as they move on past, trying to get across into that zone. Of course, we've got a couple of teams up in there. Mars and EFX sitting quite happily. Dragons and Outsiders as well. Odyssey, of course, just up here. We've got the Exiles moving past the Revolution. Squad Gun moving in from the west. We've got Spaza Six just crossing in from the southwest. And 4KT actually also joining the party finally. The only team that has not joined the party just yet is the Not Gaming squad, who are still out in that blue zone. And they've just moved up towards the west, but they're still chilling in the blue zone. And, well, they're not about to emerge just yet. They're going to be trying their blue zone strats out and seeing how long they can last up there. So, yeah, we'll see.
Which once again is a play that we've seen some of the teams attempt in previous matches. So we'll see, as you said, whether or not they'll make it up in time to avoid, most of the damage that's going to be coming in from that blue zone.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes it does probably make some people a little bit on the dumb side, but we'll find out. Not that that's happening here today, aside from myself. Which seems to be coming in by the bucket loads. But of course, we'll be making our way across as the team from Ekasi here are taking a few hits there, as Vibe is now starting to creep on in towards their position.
Yeah, well, as that zone, of course, gets smaller, then things become a little bit more difficult to move around in. And, well, when you start running out of space on a map like Miramar, then things definitely are turning up a little bit by little bit. So, of course, we are approaching that territory. We've still got plenty of space to work with for the moment. But, yeah, we've got 13 teams, 44 players. Everyone's going to be able to slot themselves inside the zone for the time being. But that doesn't stop those long-range engagements from coming out. Doesn't stop the shots from coming through either. And of course, Spaza Six down here with 4KT. That's in the southwest. Just putting a couple of hits back and forth. We'll see if they can get any decent damage done. It's looking a little bit more like the standard set of engagements here. Nothing too crazy coming out. But of course, once that blue zone moves in and the zone gets a little bit smaller, that's when we start to see things getting a little bit more shifty.
Yeah, well, we're currently sitting still with 13 teams, 44 players. Everyone now just squeezing on up in towards the zone. It's about to get quite heated, as you can see the players there from Odyssey. They're starting to move up towards the players there from Revolution. And we're also now just waiting to see where the zone shift is going to take us, because that would determine which way these teams are going to start rotating. And of course, once those rotations start coming in, it's going to get pretty spicy. And of course, Self now starting to put a few shots already over towards the players there from Spaza. The first one landing on Berserk. So we still got Coco, Chris, and True left on the opposite end. But it seems like Thugger and Storm might actually now... I don't know, are they going to try and maybe rotate up towards the edge of that zone? Or are they just going to try and find themselves a little bit of a better position further in the zone?
Yeah, that's a good question. Looks like they will be rolling up a little bit deeper just to get to some buildings and use that as cover, which is a pretty good decision considering the Not Gaming squad has finally decided to join the party, and they have done so right next to Spaza Six, which is of course next to 4KT as well.
Well, there goes the Dragons. They've been sent off. Now we are left with 12 teams. So we already said goodbye to GODSENT, and then we also just now said goodbye to the Dragons, thanks to the Outsiders putting those shots right into them. So we'll see how this one unfolds. The gun team, of course, right there in the center of the zone. Oh, the Not Gaming team now trying to move on up over towards the players here from Spaza. Oh, down they go. Well, the players that we had here. That's obviously not the whole squad, because Sorry is still on the move alongside Angry. So I can imagine they might be a little bit angry at the current moment as two of their players got picked off right there. But of course, we'll see whether or not they're going to try and move on up over towards them to try and get that bounce on them, or if they're going to try and rotate up into a zone. But it definitely seems like Spaza is on the move. I don't know if they're just prowling or, you know.
I think they're definitely looking for it. When you have already two players taken down, you know you're only hunting a two-man squad. You know exactly where their sort of general location is, so you can just go hunting for them. But that's the problem with the blue zone strats. I mean, this is actually the problem that we've seen almost every single time with the blue zone strats, is the re-entry into zone. It is always the biggest problem. The blue zone strat is mega mind in theory, because you can just avoid all of the fights, stay alive as long as possible. But ultimately, every single time the players and teams that are executing that strat almost every time stumble on the re-entry in towards the zone, because they find themselves face to face with 3 or 4 teams. They just get sandwiched and taken out, and there's nothing they can do about it because they need to get back into the zone at some stage. So yeah, that is that's sort of expected to see when it came to the whole blue zone strat, but it's there.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely see how it goes. And of course, the players here from EFX now trying to put a few shots over towards the eXiles. We see Odyssey just sitting over towards that western side. So EFX not looking too great today, though. I mean, we've seen some crazy plays coming in from their side in the past, but today, so far, it's been proving to be quite a tough challenge. And of course, we see the team there from Odyssey now starting to push in on EFX. Sidon right on the edge. EFX down to 2, that being Sully and Bait, you can see just up ahead. But the shots now go in, down goes Bait. Everything now just riding on Sully for EFX. Yeah, so now we're in a bit of a situation here for a lot of these teams. Sully's got to make quite a bit happen here. He's trying to toss that util down and get as much done as possible. If he can get this res in, maybe
stands a bit more of a fighting chance, but with these Odyssey players like vultures swarming around him, does he even have the time? Up comes Baker and the rest of the team. Oh, he just gets the res in time, but is that HP from the res going to be enough to hold on the smoke? Certainly has been, but the shots coming through is certainly not going to give him much time to react. He comes and takes one down, but with so many players in all directions, he's not going to be able to respond to every single one of them, and he will go down as well.
That was a beautiful push coming in there from Odyssey, really just moving in with quite a bit of force there, just getting those shots going right off the bat and doing a fantastic job sending them straight into the lobby. But we see the players here from Not Gaming, they are now getting pushed by the team here from Spaza, so they've been able to hold on to this position for a little while. Oh, but up comes Spaza pushing right in. The first hit going into Coco though. Sorry. Oh, gets caught behind the wall. And in fact, well, that is the end. Just like that, the whole team gets sent on off into that lobby. Spaza just pushing in also quite aggressively and sending them packing. Well, we are now left with our top 10 teams for this round. So let's see, will Gun be able to hold on to this position, as we've got the players there from Revolution busy moving in from that southern side.
Yeah, and it's usually around this stage where we start to see the majority of teams heading back in towards the lobby. We've got a zone of about 800 meters, so we're on the precipice of heading towards the 400-meter zone as well. So this is going to be some serious slaughtering time. Lots of teams are going to find themselves heading back to that lobby quite soon. Of course, we've got a number of teams approaching from the south. We've got Odyssey moving up towards 4KT, up against Revolution, who's up against Gun down in the south of the zone. You can see those shots just absolutely flying at the moment. Just no mercy, and of course at this stage you can't really show any because you are certainly fighting for your spot to exist in the zone, and that is pretty much what you need to be focusing on at this stage, because that zone is starting to do so much damage that blue zone strats are out the window, and well, now you just have to fight to survive.
Yeah, we're seeing such a lot of hits just happening all over the place. We've got Gun right there with the Revolution, and as you mentioned, of course, we see several teams making their way on up in towards the zone. Yeah, this is going to be quite a tough one, as we see so many teams just moving in from the southern side. And hopefully the teams aren't struggling with ping as I am struggling today, because, yeah, I don't know, this new update just messed things up a little bit on the ping front. But, well, judging from the kill feed, you know, that doesn't seem to be the case, as we got so many hits just coming in from all directions. Spaza now putting a few shots, and Revolution getting caught right there at their vehicle as 4KT start pushing up, and of course Odyssey now caught out in the blue. Oh, beautiful explosion happening right there, but the shots are not done yet, as Vibe are now also stepping up to the party. The shots still continue to fly over towards them. The 4KT team actually getting hit quite hard. Getting quit.
But yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, this is exactly what we were waiting to see, because with so many teams left alive when that blue zone starts to come in, it is just a matter of who can make it in quick enough and stay alive. You could even see that there was a couple of dancing moves just to stay alive until the Odyssey team got sent back by the blue zone, which they eventually did. And now we're left with 7 teams. Of course, that number going to be reduced quite a bit, as well as the zone has moved up towards our 400-meter zone, which means that things are getting even more tight. You can see the Revolution squad out 3 men strong. We've got the 4KT squad. They've got 4. The Gun squad just up ahead of them. They've also got their 4. And then Mars just off in the distance towards them. The Outsiders also hovering around the eXiles up towards the northwest. Or sorry, northeast. They're all going to have to move up into the zone, and it is going to be absolutely crowded like you've never seen before. And of course, now those shots are just starting to fly.
Ooh. Yeah, no, this is what we've been waiting for this zone to just heat up. As you can see, Revolution and Gun going head to head. Mars moving up into its position. The players here from 4KT doing quite a bit of damage rather towards the Spaza players, as you can see, just sitting over towards that northwestern side there. But I mean, this section of the zone is absolutely just heating up. Mars now getting hit, as well as the Gun team just putting those shots in all directions. And of course, now up comes M24 in hand. Everything at the ready. Wow, the zone looks absolutely insane. 7 teams, 25 players remain. But of course now the players here from 4KT just battling it out with Revolution as they are trying to gain control of this portion of the zone. Blue zone still closing in, and we're going to see quite a few players actually now getting sent on off into the lobby as that blue zone just starts devouring players.
Oh yeah, it is just absolutely devouring players. That is probably the best way to say that. I mean, you can even see these teams just getting absolutely consumed by that blue zone, and bit by bit they're going to be falling away. And the only teams that are going to be able to survive are the ones that have just made it up in towards that zone. We've got 7 teams still remaining, 20 players left alive, and of course those numbers about to be reduced once again as that zone has been reduced as well. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is these teams making it this far and still being alive is pretty impressive considering there's quite a lot of them left. They're just making use of whatever cover they can, trying to get those survival tactics going, but how long is it going to last is the question. Right now you can see those shots are still flying across from team to team.
Yeah, this is definitely quite the challenging zone, and of course that zone shifting up once again now, heading over towards the side where we find the eXile's gun actually now starting to put those hits, and as you can see the outsiders now starting to push up as well. 2 of the players getting knocked out in the process, and Archeda has all the pressure on his shoulders. He needs to try and get those reses in on time, but of course now the remainder of the lobby are all starting to push in bit by bit. Up they come. Oh, this is going to be a super tough one to defend, and Gun actually moving with pretty good numbers. You can see the players there from Spaza off in the distance getting hit, and the team from Revolution now getting caught up by that blue zone. We might see quite a few players getting taken down once again, as we've seen this blue zone being absolutely relentless. Just moves in and kind of just wipes that whole lobby clean. I don't think Spaza is going to make it up into zone. Chris, of course, manages to pull himself in just in time, but the outsiders are now starting to close in once again. Gun taking full advantage of this, and of course that zone shifting up over towards the outsiders now. We have 4 teams in play. Chris, the last one for the team there from Spaza. We got the players from the eXiles on 2, Gun on 4, as well as the outsiders also sitting on 4 players. So pretty good numbers moving up in towards what could possibly be the final zone.
Yeah, certainly could. I mean, only time will tell if it is. We've certainly seen empires like Guns at the moment where they have so many players left being toppled, so it's not out of the ballpark for any of these teams. And right now, eXile's putting some shots over towards the Gun. That's Nerf getting hit in that process. Chris just straggling by his lonesome to try and stay alive as long as possible while the big boys fight it out, while the teams with all those numbers fight it out. And of course, they will certainly be doing that. The eXiles have taken quite a bit of damage as well. Outsiders now deciding to move on up towards the eXile's Gun, just still keeping that overwatch to see how many shots they can put in all across the board, even paying a little bit of attention to poor old Chris over there, trying to stay alive and dodge from smoke to smoke, but it's not going to help. He's going to get taken out. Slim was waiting in wait for that and just putting those shots across. Sorry, going to go down now as well, and their Cheddar gets hit, and now it's 2 teams. It's Gun and outsiders to battle it out.
Yeah, no, we'll see definitely who'll be able to clutch this one out. As Gun, you know, they definitely need to make their way on up into that zone, but of course up they come pushing in aggressively. Pronto taking a bit of damage. Slim goes down goes Risk, Nerf and Pyro now, the 2 last hopefuls, but they're caught in the blue zone. Pyro now, in fact, has got everything on his shoulders. He's just rushing on into zone. Wow, and down he goes. The outsiders. Wow, come in with the clutch right there on the end. Talk about capitalizing on your position in zone. I mean, Gun was, you know, putting up a pretty good attempt trying to rush on up in towards that zone, but of course, fortunately for the outsiders, that wasn't sufficient enough and they got caught in that blue zone. But the outsiders finishing their play with 8 kills and chicken dinner. We got the Gun team finishing their play with 2nd place and 10 kills. The eXiles finishing in 3rd place with 6. We got Spaza finishing in 4th place with 7 kills. Revolution with 2 in 5th place. We got 4KT finishing with 5 kills in 6th place. Mars finishing up with 3 kills in 7th. Odyssey with 3 kills in 8th. We got Vibrant finishing with 2 kills in 9th place. Ekasi with 1 kill in 11th. Not Gaming in, well... No, sorry, Ekasi with 1 kill in 10th. I did the math the wrong way around there. Sorry, my bad. Not Gaming in 11th place. EFX in 12th place. The Dragons in 13th. And of course, GODSENT getting sent into the lobby there in 14th place with their 1 kill. Yeah, well, interesting turn of events we had in this match. Definitely quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely not the way you'd expect things to go, and certainly we've seen some teams go out quite quickly. I mean, Temper heading back to lobby first is quite a thing you don't really see. So that's very interesting, and that's sort of been the telltale sign of what's been going on today, which is quite interesting. We saw a bit of a different strategy coming into a wrangle in that first match, and then moving into this one, we saw some crazy stuff happening there too. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for the next two.
Yeah, so we jumping right back into Miramar for our third match, and then of course we'll be transitioning back over towards Erangel. So without much further ado, let's head on over into the intermission while we wait for this third round to get underway.
darkest night, I saw your eyes. A sense of threat that I can't forget. I wanna know who you are. This is what I need to know. So take my hand and let our fears go. Take me to your jungle, where the rain is warm and the birds fly. Take me to your kingdom. Yeah, take me to the, yeah, take me to the go like a purpose shows. I wanna know who you are. This what I need to know. So take my hand and let our fears go. Take me to your jungle where the rain is warm and the birds fly. Take me to your kingdom. Yeah, take me to the. Yeah, take me to the. Take me to your jungle where the rain is warm and the birds fly. Take me to your kingdom. Yeah, take me to the jungle, jungle.
Clock's ticking, time is over. Before you know you're older. So sober, alone, but you getting my cold shoulder. You crying like it's rain. You causing all the pain. No closure, I'm colder. You getting nothing, Joker.
Get down. Get up.
You getting nothing, Joker. Clock's ticking, time is over. Before you know you're older. You getting my cold shoulder. No closure, I'm colder. She getting nothing, Joker. Clock's ticking, time is over. Before you know you're older. So sober, alone, look. You getting my cold shoulder. You crying like it's rain. You causing all the pain. No closure, I'm colder. She getting nothing, Joker. 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 Clock's ticking, time is over. Before you know you're older. So sober, alone, look. You getting my cold shoulder. You crying like it's rain. You causing all the pain. No closure, I'm colder. You getting nothing, Joker.
Get down. Get up.
You getting nothing, Joker.
Interstellar night space, no one else sees. In the underground, we're living low key. Can give you peace here in your mind. And as I found no place in the dead of night.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. I just realized in the previous one that Patchy took his glasses off, and now again he's sitting there. Yeah, you look strange without them. But either way, we're getting ready to jump into our third match of the evening. This, of course, being once again on the Miramar map. So without much further ado, let's jump on over and we'll see what is going to happen in this one. That's, of course, if everything loads up.
Yeah, just press those buttons there. You just
Yeah.
boop boop boop. take us into the match. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, the teams on the screen there. Once again, we got from Mars over in slot 2. We got the players from Not Gaming in 3. We got Odyssey in 4. We got the Outsiders in 5. Cheddar and company there from the Exiles in 6. We got 4KT in 7. We got Gun over in 8. GODSENT in 9. We've got the players from Spaza in 10. The Dragons in 11. We got Vibe over in slot 13, and of course we got Ekasi in 14, EFX in 15, and World Revolution over in slot 16. So the only team that we're not seeing here is, well, the Natural Killers. But as we know, yeah, we don't have Natural Killers anymore.
That feels bad, man. Now we
Yeah.
need trained killers.
Yes.
Who's gonna step up and be the trained killers is the question. We'll see.
Well, Sheki here looking quite excited. We got him dancing around and going all over the place, and of course everyone just collectively jumping straight into that plane, which is now taking us all the way from prison right over towards that far eastern side of the map. As you can see, just north there of Impala. So interesting flight path and quite yeah, quite limiting.
Yeah, that's
I
quite
might say.
restrictive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not the sort of flight path that one would expect, but yeah, well, I mean, at least it'll make the teams, work a little bit. They'll have to get themselves sorted, rotate up into the zones, make sure they're all good to go, which is nice at least. But as you can see, the teams are only jumping out now as they reach Chumacera. It's only the Not Gaming squad who, of course, jump out early because they like the coast. It seems that these guys like the beach quite a bit, which I don't blame them for whatsoever. You know, when you've got a choice of lots and lots of desert and then beach, the beach doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, but sometimes, it's not always so appealing because it depends on how far away that is. But we can see quite a few people reaching up in towards that northern side, so they clearly don't like the beach all that much. Yeah, I don't think there's much appeal for them in this match. You can't really feel the water just yet. But we might have the players here from Vibe and Odyssey going head to head already right out of the gate. They're quite close. I think this is kind of almost the closest we've actually seen them drop together.
Yeah, it could definitely be the case, and we'll see if that leads to any early fights. It certainly has the potential to do so, but we're going to be looking at that zone, which actually is a lot more sort of normal in a sense, going off there towards the west. Looking pretty straightforward. Vibe, though. Gunner going to be putting a couple of shots in towards Odyssey already, and he's actually even trying to get a quick thirst there as well. Before he's even finished looting up, he's just putting pot shots in already.
Yeah, so we got those early game engagements already happening, and well, quite an interesting zone, in fact, looking at it, because we got quite a few teams dropping very, very close together up towards that more northern part of the zone. And Gunner and company here, they're still trying to get those shots in towards Odyssey. As you can see, Sudden, of course, now getting raised up in the meantime. So I don't think Gunner is going to be able to get that shot. But I'm glad to see that, after how many weeks of going at it, dropping in the same spot every single time, that we eventually saw the players from Vibe and Odyssey taking that early game engagement as they all dropped together in the same spot.
Yeah, I mean, at this point you'd sort of expect it. Like, when you know who you're dropping with time and time again, like, surely there's got to be some sort of plan brewing in one of the camps to try and get some early advantage over the other team. If you know sort of where they are, you can try and counter-strat them and try and just put them at a disadvantage early on, which is definitely a good try, definitely a good way to do that. We'll see, though, at the moment, nothing more has really come of that sort of engagement. The rest of the teams just sort of making their way on up, getting their loot going and everything, getting themselves set up. The majority of the sort of top northwestern portion of the zone looking very, very bare at the moment, so plenty of potential to rotate up into that area if you want to just slip on past, not really get any contention going. You can just sit comfortably up there. But yeah, we'll see what the teams have to offer here for the final Miramar game for the evening.
Yeah, and of course at the moment we have sitting in our top 2 positions, we've got Gun and eXiles. Both these teams are battling it out for that top spot. Gun currently sitting on 137 points. I don't know if it's been updated just yet, but that's the results that I can see. And then of course the eXiles are sitting on 110 points. So yeah, these next 2 matches will be very, very important for both these teams, as you know, that will determine where they find themselves on the leaderboard. And of course 4KT just 5 points behind the eXiles, and Vibrant 2 points behind Vibrant. So Vibrant's sitting on 103 points, and the players from 4KT sitting on 105 points. So not a lot of points in between these teams sitting in that, you know, in those top 4 positions.
Yeah.
You got EFX, they are in 5th place, but they're sitting on 84 points. So it's quite a bit of a point difference between 4th and 5th place. So keeping a very watchful eye on these top 4 teams, seeing how they're going to be performing. And of course, we got the players here from GODSENT now pushing up towards Revolution. So let's see. Will we see Mr. Shady over here get the pounce in on Kato? Or, well, will Kato get the jump in on him? Because Revolution is currently sitting in 12th place and GODSENT sitting in 7th.
Okay, well, that's some interesting information to know, at least for the time being. We'll see what comes of this. I mean, the thing that really stands out to me is the fact that any of those top 4 teams are sort of in contention to put points in and sort of beat one another, but it's EFX that needs to put in some serious work, maybe a chicken at some point here in one of these matches to try and move on up into those top spots. And I mean, they can definitely do it. They have the potential. I've seen them do it before. So we'll just wait and see if they can make it happen. For the meantime, though, there's Kato. He goes down. Shady eventually going to find him. So their little game of Kato and Mouse is going to end right there. And then Con just going to finish it off for you, actually coming in to put some shots. But he's going to go down as well. So they're just feeding themselves into the meat grinder right now.
Yeah. Well, actually, so the scores have just been updated, you know, with the previous matches standings. So overall, we've got Gun sitting on 153 points, 92 kills to their name. We got the eXiles in 2nd place still with 121 points and 78 kills. And then in 3rd place, we got Slime 4KT with 112 points. So as we move into this match, there's actually quite a bit of distance coming in. Vibrant sitting in 4th place on 105. So there's 7 points between 4th and 3rd. And then, of course, we're sitting with 9 points between 3rd and 2nd. And, well, then we've got 18 points. Yes, 18 points between 1st and 2nd place. So all of these points, of course, being very much achievable. But that, of course, depends on the performance of the teams and where they get sent on off into the lobby. If they make it all the way up in towards those finals few zones, or if they get sent out before.
Yeah, well, we'll have a look and see. Certainly, it will come to light soon enough. Of course, you can see that red zone just plopping right down in the middle. Taking some artillery shells in that direction. Hopefully none of the teams feel that pain just yet, because it sucks getting hit by that red zone. So hopefully no one's getting bombed out here today. But there's quite a number of teams actually situated there in towards the middle. We've got the Dragons, we've got Spaza Six, and we even got the eXiles hovering around there, and Mars just down to the south. So lots of teams looking in that direction, looking to get nice and centralized, as per usual, as generic game terms would suggest. So that's at least good to see. The rest of the teams are pretty even spread across the map. It's actually going to be MG starting to put some shots in now towards the Dragon, so at least we're having a little bit of engagement up there in the middle. Hopefully that increases.
Ooh, in fact, 2 hits coming in, and Dan puts some return shots over towards MG. So MG managing to knock out Blade and Schnitz in the process. Now we got Nero and Dan, but of course they are still well hidden in the compound. And of course we have that red zone right over top of them as well. So, well, let's see, will they be able to get those reses in? I'm pretty sure that has already happened over in the eXile camp. And, well, the Dragons also now just tending to their wounded. Everyone is back up and at it once again. So we're going to be keeping a very watchful eye specifically on those 4 teams right at the top, that being Vibe, 4KT, eXiles, and Gun. So as you can see at the current moment, we've got the players from 4KT. Well, no, wait, let's scratch that one. Let's jump up to this. We got a bit of a fight about to brew here, about to break out. That being the outsiders now pushing up, down goes Zero. We got Shaky and company also just in the surrounding here. So let's see whether or not... Well, I think Shaky is the only one. Yeah, I don't know where Bob and Pronto is. Ooh, Gun getting hit though in the kill feed. Revolution turning up the heat. Putting the shots in towards Gun. Let's jump up and see what's cooking over here. Was that Slim? No, they took out Revolution. Yes! Well done! Gun already getting those hits right off the bat. And of course, we saw the team there from Revolution. So they've all just been sent on into that lobby. So Gun already claiming 2 points right there. And now we got Jasmine right here next to one of the players from NiBBLE. Or Odyssey, whichever way you would like to call it. But here we are. Let's see, will Jasmine get the jump on Juicy? Oh, so close.
Yeah, this is they're very, very close, but this rocky terrain makes it quite difficult, and so Juicy should be able to get away here with the vehicle just zooming over the terrain and making sure to get out of the line of sight. But Jasmine is determined, ready to put those hits in. He just really wants to find them, but Juicy will not give anything just yet.
But that was quite amusing to look at now, because just as Jasmine spots Juicy just ducks back down in behind yet another piece of the train. So every time, you know, there's a potential to land some hits, the terrain comes into play, and then, you know, just once again makes it so difficult. But as I was trying to say before I interrupted myself, players from 4KT, we've got them. They just push straight north towards the zone. There we go. So we find them sitting up in that southern section, but of course now Vibe and Odyssey about to have a little bit of a showdown right here on the edge of the zone. Seems like Odyssey actually, they actually going to keep on rolling on right past them. Got a few shots now going up to Juicy once again. The Juicy not out of the woods just yet, but managing to move in behind some hard cover here.
Yeah, it's good to see these early shots going off between the teams. It's a little bit more standard, and it's definitely good to see as well. Teams sort of getting into that groove, putting the shots across, going, looking for the hits, because, I mean, the more hits you can get in, the better. You can put yourself at a good advantage, and for the moment, there's plenty of space for the teams to move around it. So right now, we've got 13 teams. We've got 47 players moving up. Plenty of space, actually. I mean, really, the zone still quite large, so teams don't have to be too worried about that just yet, but the fact of the matter is, these teams are definitely looking for the hits. If they see a team moving around nearby, if they see somebody in a car trying to traverse across, they put those hits in, they put those shots across, and it's good to see. Right now, we've got quite a number of teams moving in from the south. We've got Ekasi moving up, Vibe, Odyssey, and of course the players from Mars there. So this could potentially be a nice little hotspot, and there come the shots from Baker.
Yep, no, it's definitely starting to hit up. Several shots flying all over the place. The team's really turning up the heat, and of course you can see just off in the distance here, Jasmine now getting hit. Oh, down goes Jasmine. Now Hunter and company trying to come in to provide some cover. Obviously it's a little bit late, but we see Odyssey, not Odyssey, GODSENT and the eXile also getting quite close. Right there, almost in the central part of the zone. 4KT right there next to the Dragons as well. And we got some shots now actually being fired across there from Flacco's side.
Yeah, we'll just have a look and see if he can put any of them in at the moment. He's looking for them, slowly just scanning that surrounding area. Got a couple of teams up in this, southern section here, but that zone still has yet to move on up. The zone certainly taking its time here, but luckily the teams are being nice and active, so hopefully they will find one another in due course. You can see those rotations coming. Odyssey moving past 4KT. Ekasi looking to do a similar thing. Vibe still looking to push up in towards the zone, so there's still some good presence down here and definitely lots of potential.
Well, we got the Odyssey team, as you mentioned, on the roll once again. We just saw a few shots coming in from that Ekasi side, but of course now slowly but surely trying to move on up. We got 4KT just on the other side of this hill that we find on the right hand side of the screen. Let's see whether or not they're going to try and maybe potentially rotate all the way around it, which would be a pretty good one for 4KT, seeing that they've got, a nicer delivery coming in there. So we've got Thugger now just trying to make his way around. And, well, he should be able to spot the players there from Odyssey momentarily. Yes, I think that is exactly what is happening. There we go. Come on. Oh, nice. The hits coming in. Vindog. Oh,
Ooh.
wow. 4KT just popping that vehicle off right there and then. Absolutely fantastic. And, of course, down goes Vindog. So he just got knocked out. Yeah, that is definitely a tough spot to get caught in. They got two players remaining, and I don't think Vindog's going to make it. No, down he goes.
Yeah, that's definitely a difficult spot to get caught, and it seems like if you're rotating with your vehicle up, you know, just enjoying a nice drive with the rest of your squad, and suddenly they'll just you know, machine gun out of nowhere, just gonna pop some hits into you, take you out, blow up your car, and ruin your nice day. But that is the name of the game, and now Odyssey are left on 2 of their players only up, sandwiched in between quite a number of teams. I mean, right up ahead of them, they've got Spaza Six, below them, they've got the Dragons and 4KT, so, I mean, they're not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely not out of the woods just yet, but we'll see how they go, because we see this blue zone now closing in bit by bit, and I'm quite curious to see where this next zone is going to be taking the players. Vibe now ever so slightly getting caught out in that blue zone, and I think, in fact, they're the only team. Yeah, they're only team trying it out in that blue. But, of course, now some more hits coming in from GODSENT as the shots just go. Those shots are actually flying over towards EFX.
Yeah, we'll see if they can go straight on in. Definitely looking for them, GODSENT. Just scanning the area here. We'll see as those teams start to make their way in. Of course, as that zone is nice and small now, getting a bit smaller, it's going to mean that less and less space is available for the teams, and they're going to have to choose their spots carefully. Otherwise, they risk getting sent back to that lobby super, super quickly. And with all these teams already occupying the center of the zone and sitting inside those structures, it's definitely going to be a difficult spot to move in on.
Yeah, no, 100%. Of course, you can see Mr. Swave right there at that rock, trying to see if he can find the angle on Shady. Shady definitely has eyes on him, and we got a shot coming in already. The Outsiders also now just driving straight through the middle here. Oh, the shots now starting to fly in, and now they start employing those evasive maneuvers. Shaky, of course, well, getting hit in the process, so not evasive enough. In fact, down he goes.
That is certainly unfortunate. Man.
Wow, that one came in from MG.
Yeah.
Wow.
It always makes me sad when we see the party bus get shut down.
Yeah.
No one likes a party pooper, but unfortunately, you know, it's got to be done. You got to put those hits in, and of course, they're sitting right on top of that hill. eXiles are just putting the shots across, and good on them for getting some nice angles in. But the rest of the teams are looking to do some similar things. You can see 4KT really putting them in towards Vibe, even an explosion coming their way, stopping them from moving on up. Vibe have a little bit of a wall to get over if they want to get into that zone. It is 4KT that they are challenging at the moment. The rest of the team's going to be free to rotate up into the zone, but now is the time when they start to run out of space, because we have hit our final zone that is going to be big enough to really accommodate all of these teams. Once it shifts up again, it's going to be way too small for all of these teams to coexist, and well, that's when we're going to see the shots really flying in earnest and some teams hitting that lobby.
Yeah, we definitely got the gun team now trying to sneak on up behind the eXiles here, but the first shot already going straight over towards Nerf. So he's been found out, but we still have Slim and Pyro left, and Pyro, of course, now trying to get that res in. Coco getting hit by EFX as well now, so the teams are really starting to converge on the central part of the zone. The players there from Spaza getting hit in the process, but we're trying to see what is going to happen with those top 4 sitting teams: Gun, the eXiles, 4KT, and Vibrant. It's a little bit of a battle for those top positions. We got the players there from GODSENT, of course, just off in the distance still. But now EFX closing in on the players here from Spaza. Bit by bit, up they come. Not Gaming also trying to make the move. Jagger's vehicle absolutely lit up. Few hits away from getting blown up as well. Gun now putting some shots in towards the players there from the eXiles. Let's jump back into that fight.
Yeah, this is a good siege. They've got them up against the cliffside, which is a pretty decent spot to have them in, because if they make the wrong step, they could even fall off, which is great for you if you're putting the assault on. So definitely could be a good assault from Gun if they can execute it correctly. But of course, that is yet to be seen right now. They're just fighting up here on the terrain. The Gun have yet to take that plateau, which of course means that the eXiles have some pretty good angles in on them if they do try to run up. So gonna have to be careful about how they move to pick apart the defenses from the eXiles. If they could wrap around, then maybe they could get something going, but for the moment it's just a bit of a standoff.
Yeah. So we're keeping a watchful eye on this. Ooh, Slim getting hit there. MG coming in with yet another knock. So MG definitely starting to rip it up with that Mini 14. But now they are starting to push across, and Pyro just trying to pop up from that side, trying to get those hits in. Let's see whether or not Pyro and Nerf will be able to hold on long enough while the eXiles now start pushing in.
We'll see if they can make it happen. Those grenades are absolutely flying right now.
Yeah, so there we go. Slim getting taken down. The eXiles now pushing up, trying to stop the Gun team from making it up to that finish. Will they be successful? Oh, well, they're definitely going to be trying. We got some hits now going in. Swave getting taken down as well. So Pyro and Nerf still just holding on for dear life, trying to get those hits in. But of course, the eXiles are also pushing up. They're currently sitting in second place. So these are the two teams sitting right at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, which means it's a pretty big and quite an important fight here, because it will determine who's going to come out on top in terms of points coming out of this particular match here. And not to mention the fact that that zone has shifted up, moved a little bit north and gotten a whole bunch smaller. So we're in our 800-meter zone here. And that does mean that all these teams down here in the south are going to have to move up. That includes Gun, the eXiles, Ekasi, the Dragons, even the Outsiders and Odyssey are going to have to move up. So these teams really need to conclude this fight really, really quickly, because, I mean, you can even see the eXiles are just on the rotator immediately. They don't even want to take this fight because they know how important it is to get into the zone right now.
Yeah, and we got the player from Mars also now moving up. Blue zone actually now catching up with Gun. They've got some distance to cover, and we might see them potentially still make it up into a zone. We are 4 zones deep, though. And as we know, the blue zone makes quite a considerable amount of damage to the players at this point. The Dragons now taking full advantage of their position, just picking off the players as everyone's now just trying to rush on in towards that zone. Baker even just flying right past the eXiles as they themselves are trying to find a spot in that zone. It is absolutely insane. A lot of mayhem now unfolding on the map here.
Yeah, certainly is. And I mean, that is what is to be expected at this point, because that zone is now looking nice and small, 400 meters across. All these teams going to have to jam themselves in here to try and make it up. And of course, not all of them will be able to do so. So the shots are definitely coming through. Now you can see the eXiles rammed into a bit of a corner up against Odyssey here. Not the greatest spot to be in, so they're in a little bit of a troubled situation here. They have to try and make it their way on up, and so do so many other teams. They're trying to put the shots on in and trying to get into that zone, and it is just proving to be such a difficult task.
Up comes the players here from Not Gaming now trying to move in on Swave. MG, of course, right there next to him. We've got the players there from GODSENT putting in a few more hits as well across the board. So let's see, will they be able to get the wipe here on the players? Ooh. The hits are just flying. There we go. Swave gets the hit in. The Not Gaming team now in a little bit of trouble, and well, they almost are done. They are down to their last player. As you can see, Mr. Zeus just holding off on the edge here. The rest of his team just getting absolutely slaughtered as the shots continue to fly. 4KT, in fact, now moving up right here behind the Dragons. Let's see, will they be able to get the push on them, send them off, because both the teams now, well, in fact, all the teams actually just putting in head after head. Gun managing to make it up in towards the zone. So this is super, super crucial part of the match, as there are so many teams so close together and everyone is just getting hit all over the place.
Yeah. And that's definitely going to be a difficult situation to get out of, because so many teams are stacked up here towards the west that it's going to be so difficult to move on up. We got the EFX team, we've got GODSENT, we've got Spaza, We've got the Dragons, we've got 4KT, and even Ekasi moving up in this direction. But that blue zone is also coming in, and that means that these teams have to get a move on, and that means forced fights, that means chaos, that means crazy stuff about to happen as these teams struggle to try and get across that line, but just making it in barely in the nick of time. But of course, those shots will be flying on in the blue zone, doing its work, knocking out a couple of players here and there. And now those shots just absolutely flying from a lot of these teams. GODSENT in such a good position. 4KT really struggling here, and oh, that's just tragic.
Yeah, that was a beautiful place, Molly, though. I mean, doing the adequate amount of damage, and Nero also himself succumbing to that same Molly. Oh, the 4KT down to their last player. This, of course, being Self. The Dragons still holding up. Let's see, will Self be able to make it up? We're in our top 9 teams for the zone. And it's only from here on out where the players actually start earning points for their placements. So everyone else that has been sent off into that lobby, of course, not getting any points aside from their kill points. But here we have it, our last 9 teams. You can see Zeus just off in the distance there for the Not Gaming team. EFX still in pretty good numbers, though. Oh, down goes 4KT. The Dragons send them packing. With that, it is the end for them. But of course, now we see the players off in the distance there. Cheddar and Sorry, they need to get on up into zone. They're right next to Pronto. And of course, the blue zone is about to start moving in. They need to make that dash on into zone. I think Gun actually got taken out in the process. Yes, they did. And oh, Six now just picking away at Sorry and Cheddar as they're trying to run across.
Yeah, that's such a difficult situation to be in, just separated from your team, of course. That does mean Sorry is going to go out, and Cheddar trying to make a frantic dash across as well, trying to make his way on up with barely amounts of health. He's going to survive it and make it up in towards that zone, but it's such a difficult position to be in now, separated from both MG and, of course, Swave, who are on the other side, and between them is quite a difficult situation. We've got Odyssey separating the two, and then, of course, GODSENT, who has just got a really big overwatch across the entire area right now, which puts quite a bit of pressure around your EFX sitting right next to them with quite the numbers here. So with 6 teams remaining and 17 players here up in this absolutely minuscule zone, things are about to get really, really heated.
Yeah, and out of our top 4 sitting teams, we only have one of them left in this match, and that, of course, being the eXiles. So Gun got sent off, 4KT not making it all the way in either. And then also the players from Vibrant getting sent off into that lobby. So this is a very crucial match here for the eXiles. They are currently trailing by 18 points. And they need to try and make that up in this round. And of course, we saw all 3 the other teams getting taken out before we hit the top 9 teams. So it looks like it might be in their favor. We might see a little bit of a change coming in on that leaderboard, but of course all the other teams here are still standing in the way of that chicken. But let's see who will make it all the way up and who will be able to claim that chicken for themselves. Several hits now still flying in.
Yeah, it is not going to be easy right now, especially with all these buildings to try and move around and navigate. It's going to be quite difficult, and whoever has the final building in the middle of the final zone is going to have so much damage. And speaking of, Odyssey really ripping in, putting those shots across, really doing some damage here. You can see everyone's getting closer and closer. EFX now moving up towards GODSENT. They have to hold on. Out goes a couple of those players. 6 getting taken out as EFX straight up push up and take them out. So that's the end of GODSENT right there. They get taken out. 5 teams remaining, 10 players alive at the moment. We've got EFX, we've got the Dragons, Odyssey, and the eXiles, and of course Berserk off there in the distance, just you know, trying to survive out on his lonesome. Not going to be able to survive for very much longer, but just trying to keep himself alive for the time being. The smoke's now getting popped to cut off that vision from Odyssey over towards the eXiles, the Dragons. Nero specifically just sitting in that building there, and of course EFX looking very, very strong with that player count.
Yeah, and of course Swave getting taken down now, so everything is riding on MG. He managed to rotate up successfully into that zone, but the blue zone are starting to close in. EFX still fantastic numbers in their favor. Berserk just trying to out-heal that blue zone. Nero might get hit in the process. Down goes Berserk. 4 teams remaining. Odyssey now also just trying to move on up. There we go, that blue zone almost completely closed in. EFX still there. Swave manages to make it all the way up in towards the zone. Oh, down he goes. But of course now MG is still in play. All 4 teams just managing to find their spot in the zone. EFX now quickly tending to their window. We got a few nades now coming in, and Nero is still just holding on, just waiting in anticipation to see what will happen. As you can see, EFX trying to make their way around. Ooh, Sidon just hiding right there behind that container. Oh, down he goes, blows himself up.
That's
3
unfortunate.
teams. Wow.
Yeah. And you can see Nero there just surviving by his lonesome, MG doing the same, and EFX just absolutely on the hunt right now. They are looking for these last few kills, and the nades will find him. MG gets taken out. It's just Nero now, the last one left, and they know his location. They've got his number, and they've got that kill as well.
I mean, that was a super tough one. EFX, oh, getting the chicken, beautifully played, finishing with 12 kills. Wow. The Dragons coming in with 4 kills in that second place. The Exiles finishing their playoff with 7 kills in third place. Will that be enough to change the leaderboard? We'll find out once the scores have been updated. And of course, we got Odyssey in 4th place currently with 4 kills. Spaza finishing with 1 kill in 5th place. GODSENT finishing their play with 6 kills in 6th place. Not Gaming in 7th. We got the players from the Outsiders finishing up in 8th place. 4KT with 3 kills in 9th. We got Ekasi with 1 in 10th. We got Gun finishing with 2 kills in 11th place. Mars in 12th place. Vibe finishing with 1 in 13th. And then, of course, the players from Revolution finishing their play up with 14th place and 1 kill to the name. I nearly got it the other way around. That would have been a bit of a oof.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly would have, but that was quite the game indeed.
Yeah.
Very interesting to see, and once again we're seeing a team step it up here and there and really make things happen. I mean, EFX doing a good job there, staying alive, getting those kills, and I mean, yeah, we're really seeing teams performing very, very well here, and that makes me excited for the final match of the evening, which of course is going to be on Erangel once again. So yeah, that's going to be really spicy.
Yeah. That is going to be the deciding match from what I've gathered so far, because if I look at the scores, Gun got themselves those 3 kills in the process. I think it was just the 3, right? So we're just trying to see now, what is going to be happening, because we got the Exiles. They finished off with 7 kills. So that's 7 points plus the placement, which I think is 8 or 6 points. All right. So that puts them, what 7 plus 6 makes that, 13 points. So I think Gun is still in the lead. But, well, without much further ado, let's head into the intermission. And then, of course, we'll bring you back in the final match, which would be heading back right in towards Erangel. So here we go.
I see the sparks you throw my way. I know your name is written on everyone's mind. Your whole show is captivating me, but don't think that I can see right through that disguise. But when you got close to me, you had me falling so hard, baby, hard, baby. Yeah, now I get it. You got heads turning, and you don't even try. Well, would you look at that? My glass is empty, glass empty. How about I get another drink, baby, Okay, I get it. You got fire burning, right there in your eyes. So when you got desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay down. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to give up. Hold on to every promise I've been praying for. I hold on to
there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. All the feelings that we shared are in the past. Your relationships are never meant to last. All the feelings that we shared are in the past.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. All right, so the final match for the final showdown is finally upon us.
That's a lot of finals.
Yeah, it is the finals either way. So, well, we're about to get into our last match, and of course, well, the points are looking pretty tight. So we've got the players from Gun. They are currently sitting on 155 points after the previous match. We got the eXile sitting on 133, so 22 points difference between first and second place. We got 4KT sitting in third place on 115 points, and then of course we got Vibrant and Esports, both team Vibrant and EFX.
Vibrant and Esports.
Yeah, don't worry. I was reading faster than my I was reading faster than my words were coming out. We got Vibrant Gaming and EFX Esports both sitting with 106 points in 4th and 5th place. So be sure to go check it out on the Mettlestate website. The link should be in the description if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, we're about to get into this match, and of course we're going to have a look at what that flight path is going to be delivering us for this. Here we go. Oh,
right. Well, what this flight path is going to be, it's going to be going down from that military base all the way to George. So, yeah, pretty interesting flight path. But the question is, where does the zone go? Because, like you said, this is our final match of the final showdown, finally here. And, well, we're going to finally see what the final flight path is going to finally give us and where that final zone is going to finally go.
Yes, 100%. With great finality, we shall see which team will come out in the top spot. It is a big showdown between Gun and the eXiles for that top spot. So, we are waiting in anticipation to find out which will be the victors. And of course, we've got a few teams already starting to make their way down. As you can see, we've got the players there from Spaza so far heading off in towards their usual spot. GODSENT also heading over towards Farm, which again is their usual spot. I think we have a little bit of a weird jump here by 4KT. Twist and Thugger jumping out quite early. Then, of course, Self and Storm jumping out a little bit right after that, with a slight bit of a delay there. I don't know what I was going for, but whatever. We got Gunner heading up in towards Quarry, which again is no surprise. Revolution heading towards the west. Ekasi going straight in towards Gatka. Got EFX pushing in to that mountain surrounding area. The Dragons heading up in towards Hospital and South George. You got Not Gaming going for North George. Then of course the eXiles in their usual spot. Vibe and the Outsiders also trying to reach up all the way into the same, but of course we might actually see Odyssey and Outsiders dropping down over in Water Tower.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. Let's see if they do. One thing I want to look at is that I sort of want to believe that 4KT's drop is not a mistake. I want to believe that they had this pre-planned already, and this is a strategy that they're using where they just spread out to get the maximum amount of loot for all of their players, and then they regroup, you know, as quickly as possible, so that they all have tons and tons of loot and they can just go in as strong as possible. I mean, whether that's actually the case or not is you know, another question entirely. It's inconsequential. I believe that this is a pre-planned strategy right here.
Yeah, well, we've got the players here from Odyssey now busy with their pre-planned plan. that they are busy employing with their three-wheel of death. As you can see, Vindog slowly but surely making his way across. Good side and right there within, and of course, Baker
Just
sitting in the
sliding
sidecar. So the whole squad rolling up on their three-wheel of death. Luckily for them, there is only 3 of them. There we go. So let's see 2 of them now dropping off. Vindog pushing up a little bit further onwards. But of course, Sully was just up ahead of them. And they might actually bump straight in towards Sully. But of course, now we hope that Sully could find a weapon. Otherwise, you know, it's of not much use to him. Oh, there we go. Vindog and company just rolling right past him. Putting that VSS to some good use. But of course, they've managed to escape. So off they go. They've broken free. And, well, I'm pretty sure we won't see them pushing up to Severny. Because you can see we've got EFX sitting up in Severny. And now we're just waiting for the teams to get all their looting done and dusted. And then, of course, start rotating up in towards that zone. But we see 4KT actually now on the way over towards that far eastern side. You got Storm and Self now pushing up towards Twister. Twist. I don't know why I say Twister. Whatever. Here they are. There they are. Making their way around. I think I need glasses.
Or maybe you're just hungry.
Or that. Actually,
Yeah.
that might actually be true. But, yeah. Let's get into the players that are also quite hungry for some kills. So let's see. Maybe they'll be successful in their attempts to get some more kills and stuff going there.
Yeah, we'll just take a look and see how this unfolds. Obviously, this being the last match, and the one match to end all matches. These teams have to play it as best they can. They've got to play smart. They've got to make sure that everything is well thought of and well planned before they make it happen. So as you can see, everyone just taking a little bit more slowly. The pacing definitely slowed down a whole bunch. But of course, with that zone being all the way up in the north, a lot of it going to be, you know, some of that water in the sea up to the north as well. It's going to reduce the size, and a lot of the players did jump out and towards the majority of the mainland. So the rotations will have to come out eventually, and I'm seeing that there's probably going to be a lot of teams down towards the southwest. So that's probably going to be quite the zone. But EFX have made a really good decision in moving up to Savoni super quickly. Hello. Wow. DK just flexing on me, but yeah, so you know, we're just going to be looking at EFX there for a second. They're just chilling up in the north. They're all the way away from everything. They don't have any battles to do, nothing crazy to really focus on. So that's going to put them in a good position, depending on, of course, where the zone rotates up eventually. But for the moment, especially considering the blue zone's taking its time, they're in a good spot, and all the fights are going to happen down south.
Yeah. And we can see the eXile's actually now starting to creep closer towards the players here from Vibe. Cheddar and MG already pulling in right here on the edge of school. So let's see, will they be able to find any hits into the players here from Vibe that we got, of course, right up ahead of them. You can see 2 of the players sitting up in the apartments there. And then we got Yaks all the way off in school itself. And of course, now the players there from Spaza are starting to make that rotation out of the military island, heading on up in towards the mainland. We're just waiting to see where it is that they're going to be moving up into, because now slowly but surely we see the exiles here. I'm not sure whether or not they're going to try and challenge the players here in the compound. Well, it seems like that is exactly what they're going to be doing, just rushing straight on in. Up they come. We didn't see many shots actually being exchanged between them, but of course now Sleepy decides it's maybe better to try and move along in towards the next building, but the shots just come in. MG stepping it up with that I almost said VSS. Yes, sounds the same.
I was actually about to say, like, any other gun in that instance would probably not have been able to take him down there. But the fact of the matter is, he had a Vector which shoots so quickly. He managed to get that knock. Yeah,
it's got an insane fire rate, and of course now the exile's just moving up into the compound. Vibe still up ahead of him. We've got a few nades now getting flung over there from Smitty's side. So we've got Yaks also on the opposite end. And well, one of the last player here from Vibe now moving up from that far eastern side, trying to get his butt in. And well, so I think the main jumps we're going to try and get on into for this match especially will be the ones where either Gun or the exiles are battling it out, because as you know, these 2 teams are fighting for that top place. So we're quite keen on seeing which team will be able to make it all the way on top. And of course, let us know in the chat, who do you think is going to win? Will it be the eXiles or will it be the Gun team? Either of these teams could very, very well claim that. And I don't think any of the other teams could get that close, because 4KT is sitting on 115 points, quite a bit behind. So they're trailing by 18 points. But you never know. They might be able to, you know, make some magic happen.
Well, they certainly could, and I mean, maybe that's why the eXiles are moving up so aggressively right now. They're just looking for those kills to bump up their numbers, bump up the kill points, and get that score going. So, yeah, we'll see if they can make it happen right now. Vibe is knocking on their doorstep, but the shots are coming through, and Cheddar's going to be putting Sleepy to sleep. And now Vibe in a really bad spot. Yates has to try and make this happen. The DP comes out, does get the hits in as well. Now he has to rush out and fight a whole lot more, but he eventually goes down, and now they are in quite a difficult spot. Gunner just making a dash for it. Of course, he's just going to be saying goodbye to that situation.
Yeah, so that is definitely a bit of a tough one, but we see the players there from GODSENT also now moving in just north of the eXiles. So that could potentially, you know, implicate things a little bit for them, but of course we'll see how it is they handle this one. There we go. So the team now from Vibe getting taken down one by one, and of course now Gunner. I don't know if he decided, you know, let's just try and push in, but of course down he goes. That is the end. So Vibe being the first team to get sent into that lobby. So we've got 12 teams remaining, 46 players, and of course Gun also on the move, as you can see them right here just over towards the south there of shooting range. So I'm curious to see whether or not they're going to take a bit of a passive approach for this match. You know, not pushing up too aggressively, or, you know, are they going to turn up the aggression? Because we see the eXiles definitely turning up the aggression. We've got a few shots now, in fact, coming in from GODSENT side. But also taking into consideration the eXiles need to catch up. You know, they're 22 points behind.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of kills that need to come through, lots of placement points that need to be found, and well, actually, going to be a couple of challenges coming through here. Cheddar putting them in towards the GODSENT team just across the way, and as the zone moves on in, we actually notice that 4KT is moving up from the south, trailing back in behind that blue zone, just playing it passive, not looking for any of the kills. So I think I agree with what you said there. It's going to be difficult for them to make that jump to get on to challenge some of the top teams, or the two top teams that we're really looking at, that of course being Gun and the eXile. So we'll see what happens with regards to that, but this is going to be an interesting challenge here for eXiles, because of course they're going up against GODSENT right ahead of them. So that could potentially be a little bit of a bump in the road towards getting a whole bunch of kills and trying to make that leap in towards the top spot. We'll see for the moment. Of course, the rest of the teams starting to centralize up just above Rozok, just sort of getting together there. Of course, that being Outsiders, EFX, the Dragons, and Gun just hovering around in that area. And as that zone moves up, the team's getting themselves settled in and getting ready for the fights that are sure to come pretty soon.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping a watchful eye all across the map, obviously, but, you know, our main attention being on those two teams. And we see the Dragons now starting to close in on Sully. Ah, that wasn't even a fight. I mean, he just came running around the rock there, and the Dragons just pushed up in full force. Nero and Schnitz just shooting the Schnitz out of him right there. And, of course, well, EFX now left with 3 players. We've got Reverb, Bait, and Andrew. Bait actually taking a bit of damage as he's trying to rotate around with that vehicle. Manages to move up towards Andrew in one piece without having his vehicle getting blown up in the process. But of course now, well, GODSENT actually moving up right next to EFX as well. So the eXiles have now been left alone over in school. We got Gun also sitting quite snug and safe right there on the edge. So, yeah, I'm curious to see as to whether or not we're going to see a passive play coming in from both these teams, or that aggression.
Well, I mean, you know, the passive play gives you the slots sort of guaranteed, although as we've seen from experience, it's not really. But you know, if they manage to survive long enough, they get the guaranteed points of the placements. But you know, as we've discussed time and time again, getting aggressive, putting the hits in is just so much more beneficial, because you could still play safe while being aggressive. You're getting points, you're knocking up slots. It's just so much better to be active rather than being caught out just camping in a building or something like that. So I really hope that the teams continue to be active, and not necessarily be just overly aggressive, as we keep saying, but just making sure that they're not being stagnant and letting other things happen, because other teams could take over. I mean, if 4KT gets the chance to put in kills and keep moving up, they could very well make that jump. So these teams really need to be on their game right now. The Exiles and Gun really need to be looking for the right moment to strike. I think playing slow now is probably good, and then as the zone gets small and there's less teams to deal with, then you can start picking your fights and starting to really move on and do things.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see whether or not we'll be seeing any momentum, you know, coming into the play here, as well, Gun and the Exiles are actually quite close together.
That would be the best battle. I want to see that.
But it doesn't seem like there's going to be any engagement from that side just yet. We haven't seen any shots being done from that side. Makes no sense, but whatever. Here we are, 4 teams right here in front of us. We got the players from Spaza, we got GODSENT, we got EFX, and then of course 4KT. So 4KT currently sitting in 3rd place, 115 points, 18 points behind the Exiles. So I mean, so they definitely be able, 4KT would definitely be able to move up into 2nd place if they put in the points and the placement. But I think, you know, putting in 40 points in one match, that is
Probably not gonna happen.
really, yeah, that means like 30 kills and a chicken dinner, because you only get 10 points for chicken. You know? So, yeah, that might prove to be quite challenging, but of course now we have the Dragons who are starting to push up, or rather the Exiles pushing up on the Dragons. We got a double drop off in the distance as well. What? Well, this is definitely a special match. This is
even the game knows.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. We got the Dragons now just holding up in this infamous compound. I'd love it if there was a name for this compound though, because we've seen so many engagements take place in this particular compound.
Yeah, we'll just call it the compound.
Yeah, the compound.
The one, that one compound there. That one.
Yeah. The compound of doom.
Tri-house compound. The Tri-Wizard Cup.
Yeah, too much Harry Potter coming in there, but either way, we are moving around the map, trying to see where these teams currently find themselves. And well, a few more hits coming in there from the Exiles, flying straight over towards the Dragons. Gun actually still sitting all the way there on the far edge. And well, the zone has shifted up now. The Exiles and the Dragons find themselves in the zone, but up comes the Exiles rushing in towards the Dragons. Zane getting hit in the process. Nero just holding off on the edge there. Odyssey also creeping closer and closer. Schnitz getting hit in the process. Blade gets taken down. This is now up to Mr. Dan. Will Dan the man be able to clutch this one out? Or will the Exiles get the jump on him? Slowly but surely they're trying to send as much damage his way as they possibly can. But now Odyssey coming into the mix as well. So really just pushing up the level of complexity right here in this compound. As if it's not tough enough already. Odyssey just adding that to it. But of course, there we go. Down goes the Dragons. Cheddar landing that finishing blow on Dan. Now Odyssey also trying to rotate up, but Cheddar gets hit off the side there. Sidon not blowing himself up this round, but in fact putting the hits in. Well done, Sidon. I had to say that because I saw him in the chat in the intermission.
Yeah, that was that's so it's always unfortunate when your grenades just blow up in your face, you know. You never want it, but MG, he's gonna take the shots right into side, and it doesn't matter if he's got the grenade or not. MG gonna take him straight out. So the Exiles really looking for a fight here. And I mean, this is actually, I was going to talk about this. I mean, they've been active, and this might just mean the difference here between whether they can make this win happen or not, because they've been so active that they're finding kills that Gun is not, and Gun is banking on the placement points, but that might not be enough, because if they come in first but they don't have the kills to match, then this might just be a very interesting one to witness. So I'm very, very keen for what's about to happen.
Yeah, because the Exiles are going to need at least 23 points. So that would mean getting 13 kills and the chicken. All right? Which is already a pretty tough challenge. All right? The Gun team, they just need to make sure that they, you know, get into like top 9. Anywhere in top 9 for them is fine. You know, they currently don't have any kills to their name just yet. But we see the players here from Not Gaming actually are starting to push up on Ekasi. And well, Sunny is the last hope for the team. Let's quickly see how this one is going to go. Will Sunny be able to clutch it out? Or would he get sent into the lobby? Not Gaming making their way, still a full squad. Pretty good numbers. It's quite the challenge here for Sunny. Going up 1 against 4.
Yeah.
You know, solo versus squad. We've seen a few clutches come in the past. But...
yeah, but this situation not really conducive to that. Well, this could be interesting, though. The zone shift has moved up towards the north a little bit, and towards the east as well. The Exiles are sitting in there already. We've got Spaza Six and the Outsiders down towards the south, and Odyssey, of course, hovering around towards the east. We've got 4KT moving in from the east, as well as EFX and GODSENT. But Gun is not in the zone. They're just moving up at the moment. But that might them put... That might put them in line of sight of Exiles. And I mean, I want to see an Exiles versus Gun battle, actually, because that might just be a huge deciding factor, especially considering we have 11 teams still remaining. This could be a really interesting fight. So I really hope it happens.
Yeah, because both of them want to make it up into that final zone, especially, you know?
Yeah.
And the other teams that we've got in the lobby here, they've actually got quite a bit of power. Because they can stop any of those 2 teams from making it that far, but they can also contribute to the kill count.
True.
You know, so the opposing teams here actually wielding quite a bit of power. And we'll see, you know, are they going to get a bit power hungry and push in and get those shots going? Because, you know, either way, these teams don't want Gun or Exiles to finish in that top 4 position for this match. You know, they want to get that chicken. But of course now... ooh, okay, so first hit going into Gun. Pyro gets hit. Let's see, will it be a finish? This is going to be a super, super tough one.
I mean, if these teams are operating with that in mind, like if we find Gun or Exiles, we need to just go hard on them and just take them out immediately. If they're operating with that mindset, this could be seriously punishing as things get tighter, because these zones are going to get smaller and these teams are going to get isolated, and that could be quite a difficult situation for them. There's obviously Revolution putting in a couple of shots, but not really committing to the push on and not really finishing them off there. Now they're just hovering around in the general vicinity. Exiles now putting the shots in. This is the fight that I wanted. Putting the hits in towards Gun. And now they've found each other. And this might just not be the fight that Gun wants to take. They might just want to run away, because they might be able to take the fight, sure, but if they give it away, if that slim chance happens, then they lose that lead that they have, and the Exiles could potentially go ham. So this is such a difficult situation, and with that blue zone moving up, Risks is in a bad spot. Oh man, and now the zone's super small. This is really, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now.
But so the crazy thing is if Gun is the next team to get sent into the lobby, you know, that means they don't get any points for this game, because they currently have 0 kills. So that's no difference to their kill count whatsoever. But well, Slim manages to get a quick one in. Pops the shot straight in towards Revolution. Ooh, Cheddar comes to steal the kill. Gets the knock in Carter as well. So not only are they pushing up on Gun, they're stealing the kills.
This is such a perfect game. Oh my, I'm just enjoying this so much. This is so good to see. Slim now trying to get the flank going, trying to come from the side and potentially put some hits in, but the Exiles are looking strong up on the top of the hill. They've got a great set of angles. In the meantime, of course, the rest of the teams will be battling it out, but I mean, things are getting really tight and difficult here. MG putting the shots in as well. The Exiles are looking to collect as many kills as possible. Even Spaza coming in to get some hits on Gun. And now Gun is just teetering on the edge of being taken out here.
This is such a tough one. I mean, Nerf now just trying to... well, he manages the res. Okay, so he got it in on Slim. Right, we got the Exiles. You can see on the minimap there, they've turned their attention straight over towards Gun once again. Keeping a very watchful eye on that. Slim not in the best position, taking hits from all sides. Oh man, this is such a tough zone. I mean, you got 10 teams in. Gun just trying to make it up. I mean, if they can at least just get into 9th place, That would be an ideal position for them. But of course, now we got Not Gaming rushing in as well, pushing up between them and Gun. The shot's not going in. Ooh, 2 players going down for Not Gaming. Nerf now trying to make his way on up into towards zone. You can just see on the minimap the shots just going off in all directions. Gun actually just trying to make it up into towards zone safely. But now right up ahead of them, we see the players there from Not Gaming. Oh, that zone has shifted up again. Gun getting caught in the blue zone. Nerf now just trying to dodge all the possible shots. Flying up in all directions. Not Gaming just on the edge here. Nerf now on the prowl once again. Rolls his vehicle. That is probably one way of parking it. But the shots, he has not escaped the exiles just yet. Oh. Wow.
Holy smokes, this is nuts right here. I mean, Gun is struggling. They're sitting on. No, he's just been taken out. He's just been taken out. Gun has left the building, ladies and gentlemen, and
What?
now.
Look at the kills. 17 kills.
Oh
Mother
my word, this is nuts.
of
And now look
PUBG.
at the zone. Look at the zone. There are 4 teams inside the zone. GODSENT's there, EFX is there, Outside is there, and Spaza 6 is there. Exiles have had to deal with lots of teams, but they've collected on every single one of those kills. They are sitting on such a huge stack of kills right now, but now they need to secure that zone spot, and they need to not get taken out. They still have a full team remaining. They've got all their players left alive still. So this could be the push, the miracle push that the Exiles have just accomplished here.
Well, because yeah, they need 22 points. Okay. From what we saw, they were already sitting on 17 kills. Okay, so that means they only needed those 5 placement points. But of course, Gun got sent back as well. I think they made it into the top 9. All right, there goes another hit in towards EFX. Okay. Okay, so down. Okay, so they just added yet another kill in. The Outsiders now putting some hits in. Ooh, Zane gets hit in the process. Flacco. Oh, off he goes. Andrew with the hits. 4 teams remaining. The Outsiders, Spaza, EFX, and the Exiles. You can see all 4 teams on screen. Ooh, the hits just keep on coming. If they finish this play with the chicken for 2nd place, I don't think.
So there's a hit on towards Exiles. They've lost a player. They're still putting the shots in. Actually going to reduce the number of teams. Send 1 back to the lobby. So they just have 2 teams to deal with here. But their numbers are not looking that great. They've got 3 players. If they can survive on top of this hill and get a few more shots into Spaza, this could be doable.
Yeah, well, there we go. NG is now starting to rush in over towards the Outsiders. Oh! Vehicle explosion comes in, does the damage to Spaza. You can see Swave and MG. They've already rotated into the side of the zone. Up comes Cheddar. He's now moving in. The Outsiders are actually starting to push up over towards them. Oh, the hits goes into Cheddar. All right, late rotation coming in there. We've got the players from Spaza still off in the distance. The Outsiders pushing in. Oh, MG goes down. Swave is the last hopeful for the team. He goes in for the res on Cheddar. The Outsiders down to only 2 players, Pronto and Zero Bob. Just bleeding out slowly but surely. Spaza regaining their health. They're back to 3 players. I don't even want to look at how many kills they've got here. But, I mean, Spaza trying to move in. Cheddar taking a little bit of damage. MG trying to get into zone. I don't think he's going to make it. Swave right there on the edge of zone. Better get back in. Oh, the Outsiders.
But Spaza 6 is there as well. That's it. They've been sent out. Did they make enough points?
Place. They went. I'm not even gonna look how many kills they got. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me. All right. Okay, so now we've got this final showdown for the chicken. Oh, the match is over. All right, drum roll, please. Okay, so I'm not looking at 3rd place just yet. Okay, Spaza finishing with the chicken in 6th place. The Outsiders with 4 kills in 2nd place. The Exiles finishing their play with 21 kills. Okay, so from what we saw previously, they needed 22 points. Okay, and from what we know standing-wise, it's 10 for 1st, 8 points for 2nd, 6 points for 3rd. Okay, so that puts them on 27 points, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Quick math, okay? 11 plus 6. Okay, 27. All right. EFX sitting in 4th place, so they've got 4 kills. Then we move on over towards GODSENT in 5th place with 3 kills. Not Gaming in 6th place with 3 kills. Gun in 7th with 0 kills. Okay, so if we go down the kill count, all right, 7th place awards you with 1 point. So the eXiles needed 23 to beat Gun. Oh, it's just to square up with Gun. Okay, they got 27.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they went on a slaughterfest in that match.
Wow.
I think it's not
Wow.
official. It's not official, but I think
That's nuts.
that we might have a change in the leaderboard. Maybe. I mean,
If our maths is correct, which of
Yes.
course is still up in the air, like
yes.
that's still
Please-
questionable. But
Please take that
holy
into account.
smokes.
We got Odyssey finishing in 8th place with 3 kills. We got Revolution in 9th. We got 4KT in 10th place. We got Ekasi in 11th. We got the Dragons with 1 kill in 12th place, and then Vibe in 13th. So just looking at the standings for this match, we hardly see any kills up until we get to 6th place. Okay, well, aside from Baker getting 3 kills, well done. You know that we know that Baker can do some shooting, and he did it. All right.
I'm sorry, the eXiles literally took out half the lobby to make
Yeah.
this push happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything just yet. We're gonna have to wait for the official results, right? But okay, so you see my face lighting up every now and again. It's the screenshots I need to take to send so the scoring can get done. So we can find out, you know, in anticipation, which team gets that
I mean,
chicken.
With that to the one side, I mean, what an insane match. What an absolutely nuts match. I mean, like, we were just talking in the beginning of the match how, you know, there was a certain point threshold that needed to be crossed, and we were looking at the storyline, you know, 1st and 2nd place, who's going to fight it out and get the dub, who's going to make the chickens happen, who's going to get the points. And we literally just follow the eXiles and the Gun moving in and how they approached the match. The eXiles just went on an absolute slaughter fest. They were like, all right, lads, we've got one game. We need to make 22 points more just to square up. We need to be able to beat over Gun, right? Gun took the passive approach. They approached the situation saying, if we can make it up into those top positions, we can still win. If we manage to get there, if we could stop the eXiles from getting what they need to get, you know, what are the chances they're going to make 22 kills in a game, right? eXiles go on an absolute hunt. They just send themselves across the map, taking fight after fight after fight. The zone shifts up, and we get right to the end where Gun gets taken out with 0 kills, which means they make no extra points on that front. They only go out with the placement points that they make, and they went out in 7th place. eXiles go up, the zone shifts, they have to make a huge choice. They don't finish Spaza off, they rotate up in towards the zone, they get sandwiched in a crazy fight, they get taken out, but they go out with 22 kills, 21 kills.
21, yeah.
That is nuts. That is nuts. What a game. What a game.
Yeah. So just on kills, they were 1 kill away from making up those 22 points they needed.
Just in kills.
Yes. So 21 kills. That's insane. All right. So Gun got awarded that 1 point for 7th place, as you mentioned. All right. So yeah, we can speculate until the actual scores have been updated and it's on the site, you know. But yeah, so we're gonna leave you with that question as to who finished off in pole position at the top of the leaderboard for Pro Series. And with that, it brings us to the end of Season 7. And of course, we have some promotion relegation that will be happening where we see some of the teams. I think it's the bottom 3 teams, only because we had 15 teams participating in this one. So the bottom 3 teams are going to be relegated. And, well, the top 4 teams from Open Series are going to get promoted up into its Pro Series. So Season 8 of, the Mettlestate series is going to be super interesting to see which teams would have been promoted and who would have been relegated. But of course, thank you so much to everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, especially this last final game, which was absolutely insane. Some great performances coming in there. And of course, thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to everyone for participating. Thanks, Patchy, for the lovely co-casting. And, well, yeah, that brings us to the end. Hope you guys have a fantastic evening and see you all in the next one.
Cheerio.